Chapter 1774. None of the other two divine realms fell? The evil emperor slowly opened his eyes. When he heard the news, he was very displeased and even a little angry. Yes, none of them fell. The main reason is that the Skycloud ruler is too domineering. He controls tens of thousands of flying swords, and each of them is terrifyingly powerful. They're all at the celestial venerable level. Along the way, most of the clansmen had been killed by him. It's safe to say that he can fight 10,000 people alone. None of us were enough to kill him. The elder who reported the news trembled slightly. He was extremely worried that the evil emperor would blame him. Although he wasn't involved, who could say for sure what the evil emperor's temper was like? If the evil emperor blamed him, the one who reported the news would have to suffer. That guy again. The evil emperor's gaze was incomparably cold. His ability is amazing. I expected it, but I didn't think it would be so easy. It seems that kid has made a breakthrough again. It's so easy to kill him. Well, it's fine. I can't get the evil spirit's pearl, but after a while, I'm sure that no matter what he does, it'll be a futile struggle in front of me. The evil emperor gripped the armrest of his throne and stared coldly ahead. Right now, he wasn't angry, only a desire to conquer. He wanted to conquer the entire world and make all life in this world bow down before him. The more I kill, the sooner the war will come. The evil emperor's lips curved into a sinister smile. He looked frighteningly sinister. Lord Evil Emperor, when your true body appears, it will be the time of their deaths. Lord Evil Emperor is invincible. The elders below shouted one after another. They all knew what the evil emperor meant. All of this was part of the plan. However, it was a pity that they couldn't get the evil spirit's pearl. As for those who had sacrificed their lives, they didn't feel anything. The disciples of the Yuelong god domain cheered as well. They were genuinely happy that they had been saved. This feeling of surviving a calamity was simply too wonderful. However, they didn't know that this was only one of the evil emperor's plans. The evil emperor was using them to keep sending them to their deaths. While he fought for the evil spirit's pearl, he could dye the area black with his own blood and turn it into his own domain. If he could snatch the orb, that would be perfect. The remaining evil spirit race would continue to attack the other forces. In the end, they would just be sending themselves to their deaths and tainting this world. Hence, Yi Tianyun wasn't happy at all. He used his appraisal eye to scan the surface, trying to find a weakness. The appraisal eye was indeed able to find out the weak point, which was that it required a light attribute attack of at least the 8th rank to destroy it. Another method was power, a power that could tear apart any void. By tearing apart this void world, it would be able to clear it out. However, this was as good as not saying anything. Ordinary tearing through the void was fine, but this void that was dyed black by the black blood was not so easy to tear through. If he wanted to tear it apart, he would need a terrifying amount of power. Most likely, he would need to reach the level of a half-step god emperor. With Yi Tianyun's current strength, he could tear it apart, but the area was still too small. By the time he finished tearing it apart, who knew how many years it would take? 8th rank light attribute core, where can I find it? Yi Tianyun's eyes flickered, thinking about how to find an 8th rank light attribute core. This thing was too rare. It was really difficult to obtain. It was impossible for the outer divine regions to have it, and he didn't know where in the inner divine regions to have it. He was now the alliance leader, and all forces were under his rule. However, from the current information, whether it was the Medicine God Palace or any other divine regions, there was no such thing. Just as he was thinking about it, an urgent news suddenly came. The other divine regions were being attacked. It seems that they are really going to fight. Yi Tianyun's eyes turned cold. Then let's fight. Since there's no way to stop them, I can only go along with it. No matter how many come, I'll kill them all and raise my cultivation. Even if the evil emperor himself comes, I won't be afraid. The next moment, he quickly teleported over to support the other divine regions. When he arrived, it was still the same as the previous forces. They were all surrounded by the evil spirit race and attacked fiercely. Soon they broke through the defense. A group of death warriors, they couldn't stop them even if they wanted to. Tianyun directly rushed up and started a fierce battle. The 10,000 flying swords were like a meat grinder, completely grinding them into a bloody mist. However, before he finished killing, another message came from the other divine regions asking for help. This time, it wasn't just one, but several messages asking for help at the same time. Are they really going to fight? As expected, the battle of the divine emperors has begun. It hasn't even been 100 years, and it's going to descend for real. Tianyun roared and quickly swept over, crazily clearing the way. After clearing this divine region, he went to support the other divine regions. Although they were all in an alliance and would immediately go to support, facing a group of lunatics, it was quite difficult to quickly deal with them. Unless there was a very strong existence, it was impossible to get rid of them so easily. Even if it was the Jianfeng region master and the others, even if they could easily kill them, they couldn't do it as terrifyingly as Tianyun. 10,000 flying swords were equivalent to the power of 10,000 heavenly venerables. That kind of killing speed was terrifying just thinking about it. However, there was only one Tianyun. The other region master's killing speed was not slow, but compared to Tianyun, they were still too far away. They were not on the same level. God-slaying set, this was no joke. In terms of group attacks, no one could compare to him. However, he still couldn't split himself and couldn't quickly support. The evil spirit race was really going all out this time. In the eyes of the other forces, they thought that the battle of the divine emperors had begun. However, they didn't know that this was just the beginning, a foreshadowing. Tianyun didn't explain too much. No matter how he explained, it was meaningless. What he needed to do now was to get rid of these evil spirit race. And what he needed was more experience so that he could raise his cultivation. This was also the first time in history that he had killed so many evil spirit race members, and also the first time that he had obtained so much experience. However, as he killed more and more, his expression became more and more serious. He didn't know when the evil emperor's main body would descend, and where would he descend? The descending area is very likely to be in the cultivation heaven divine regions. Tianyun made a rough estimation. The evil spirit's pearls couldn't be given up. The evil emperor would definitely descend to snatch them. After thinking about it, it seemed that after the matter here was settled, he would take advantage of the time before the evil emperor descended to collect the evil spirit's pearls of the other divine regions and let him collect them himself. Chapter 1775. With the help of many forces, the evil spirit race was quickly cleaned up. Almost 10 forces had been attacked. The range of their attack was still relatively wide, covering almost the entire divine realm. Tianyun was already clear on this point. They were fighting in a circle, and after they died, they would gradually spread out in all directions, eventually enveloping the entire divine realm. We've finally finished cleaning up this time. Tianyun inspected the forces one by one and saw that they were all heavily injured. The number of casualties was not small. He did not have 3 heads and 6 arms, otherwise the casualties would not have been so serious. This was war, and there would definitely be casualties in war. This was the beginning. If this continued, the number of deaths would be even more shocking. But this was reality, an unavoidable reality. The battle between the divine emperor would definitely descend. Unless the evil spirit race was completely exterminated, the battle between the divine emperor would continue. Or rather, even if they failed this time, there would still be a next time. As long as the evil spirit race still existed, it would continue. After patrolling around, Tianyun returned to the camp hall that had been set up. The domain lords of the other forces gathered here all had solemn expressions on their faces. It was obvious that this battle had caused them to suffer many losses, and they were extremely furious at the evil spirit race. If it wasn't for the evil spirit race, how could such a situation have happened to them? Report the extent of the losses of each force. After Tianyun sat down, he indicated for them to report the general situation and see what the details were. The heavenly cultivation divine realm has suffered heavy losses. This time, we lost 5 sky sovereigns, 1 heavenly god, and the divine lord. Yuelong divine realm, the losses are average. We lost one heavenly god, one sky sovereign. They reported their forces one by one so that they could know each other's situation and plan who would be more important to protect. After reporting it one by one, the expressions of all the domain lords became even more solemn, and their eyes were filled with anger. That's roughly it. This time, the evil spirit race's attack was very sudden. However, I believe everyone knows that this is the beginning of the battle between the divine emperors. Tianyun said in a deep voice. This is only the beginning, the real main character has yet to appear. However, according to the time, I reckon that it will appear very soon. That is the evil emperor's true body. The evil emperor's true body? They revealed puzzled expressions. They were not too sure about the situation, and Tianyun did not explain it to them in detail. Yes, the evil emperor that we saw before was actually not his true body, but one of his clones. Due to his strength being suppressed, his main body was unable to appear. He could only wait for the environment to change before he could truly appear. At that time, his power will be fully unleashed, and his power will be more terrifying than the evil god. Tianyun said solemnly. Changes in the environment? Leader, are you talking about the area outside where the black energy is constantly spreading? The Fecta domain ruler was more sensitive in this aspect and immediately noticed the changes in the surroundings. That's right, it's the spread of that energy. It was a bit like the heavenly towering divine screen. The area lords who had experienced it would definitely feel a sense of familiarity. It of evil, emperor. It was an evil, domain, and emperor domain one. Is there no way to get rid of this? Someone immediately asked the key point. If you want to get rid of it, you'll need at least a grade 8 light attribute core to be able to do so. Tianyun looked at them and asked, do any of you know where to get an 8th rank light attribute core? The domain lords looked at each other and shook their heads. They were all shocked by the condition. How could an 8th rank light attribute core be produced? There used to be 8th rank light attribute cores. But after the appearance of the evil spirits, the light attribute cores gradually disappeared. The Fecta domain lord looked at them and said, I think you all know where the 8th rank light attribute cores are. The domain lords nodded. The light attribute cores must be with the evil spirits. They were either stored away or destroyed. They were not allowed to be disturbed by the light attribute cores, so they were collected in advance, so they could not be found. There are no 8th rank light attribute cores, but there are 6th rank and 7th rank light attribute cores. The medicine god also attended the meeting. As an ally, he had to participate. The domain lords sympathized with the medicine god temple when they learned the details of the situation. They had been deceived by the evil emperor for so long, but the evil emperor was at fault, not the medicine god temple. Even if they had been dissatisfied with the medicine god temple, they should let it go now. The real focus was to unite against the evil emperor. 6th rank and 7th rank light attribute cores. Tianyun narrowed his eyes as if he had thought of something. Then he said, well, who has a 6th rank or 7th rank light attribute core? Take them out. The more the better. I have a way to solve this problem. The domain lord's eyes lit up. They knew that their alliance lord had a solution. Next, let's talk about another matter, the heretic god's pearl. Tianyun looked at the domain lords and said in a low voice, if the black energy is not eliminated, the evil emperor will undoubtedly come to the forces that have the evil spirit's orb. When that happens, the evil spirit's orb will become very dangerous. I have a suggestion, and that is to hand over the heretic god's orb to me for safekeeping. I wonder if you are willing? Tianyun only mentioned 2 things in this meeting. One was the evil emperor's situation, and the other was the evil spirit's orb. Alliance Lord, if we hand it over to you, won't it be more dangerous? After all, you will have more evil spirits' orbs, and the evil emperor will immediately target you, Domain Lord Yuelong said. The realm of the 3 realms, Tianyun replied calmly. It was a short sentence, but it was an unquestionable answer. It convinced Region Lord Yuelong wholeheartedly. As long as the evil spirit's orb was not taken out, even the evil emperor would have a hard time snatching it. Of course, even without the realm of the 3 realms, I still have the ability to keep the evil spirit's orb. Moreover, I have a special use for it. If I use it well, I might be able to restrain the evil emperor. Yi Tianyun's eyes flashed as he thought of the evil spirit puppets. If the evil spirit puppets collected the evil spirit's orbs and used the energy within them, they might be able to transform into evil spirits that could be controlled. Just thinking about the evil spirits and the evil emperor was exciting. It can restrain the evil emperor? They looked at each other in astonishment. This was something that he had never thought about. If that was the case, it would be a good thing. Then I am willing to hand over the evil spirit's orb. Domain Lord Yuelong and Domain Lord Xiutian were both willing to hand over the evil spirit's orb. It seems that I will have to hand it over as well. I am convinced of the Alliance Lord's strength. The Fecta Domain Lord smiled and decided to hand over the evil spirit's orb. Chapter 1776. Once Yi Tianyun mentioned it, they were all willing to hand over the evil spirit's orb. In the past, they weren't willing to hand it over, but now they were all willing. The main reason was that in these years, Yi Tianyun had changed too much. Not only did he become their leader, but he also had terrifying power. Originally, they didn't hand it over mainly because they were worried that Yi Tianyun wouldn't be able to keep it. Giving it to him was equivalent to harming him, so they didn't dare to give it to him. But it was different now. Yi Tianyun was extremely strong, and could even fight against the evil emperor. Handing it over to him was undoubtedly the safest choice. Moreover, Yi Tianyun had placed the evil spirit's orb in the god realm of the three realms. Even if the evil spirits were reborn, it would be meaningless. As long as the shield wasn't broken, they wouldn't be able to get the evil spirit's orb. Of course, the evil spirits couldn't be reborn. They were all sealed, so naturally they couldn't be reborn. If they could be reborn, why would they foolishly try to snatch the evil spirit's orb? Seal themselves? Many thanks for everyone's trust. This heretic god's pearl is of great use to me. You'll know in the future. When necessary, it might even be a trump card. Yi Tianyun smiled slightly, maintaining a sense of mystery. The region lords didn't know what was going on, but they were still looking forward to it. All along, Yi Tianyun had never disappointed them. Occasionally, he would even create miracles. After giving instructions, Yi Tianyun immediately ordered them to collect light cores. As long as it was light cores, it was fine. As for the grade, the higher the better. Let's not talk about grade for now. They all carried a doubtful attitude as they began to collect, but didn't ask much. Since Yi Tianyun had said so, they could only obey. Yi Tianyun stayed in this temporary base, waiting for them to return. I hope it's effective. Yi Tianyun's eyes flashed. This was all his own imagination. Not long after, the region lords all swiftly gathered the light cores and did their best to bring them over. Alliance Master, this is all we have in stock. This is also all we have in stock. We don't have much attainment in the light attribute, so this is a little shabby. This is a level 6 light core. I've searched everywhere, but this is the only one I could find. All of the region masters enthusiastically took out all of their trump cards, not holding back in the slightest. Under such circumstances, being stingy would be courting death. Although they didn't know what Yi Tianyun wanted to do, they were sure that he wanted to get rid of the pitch-black energy. However, it was strange that he didn't care about the grade of the energy. Yi Tianyun collected them one by one. The highest grade was only the 7th grade, and there wasn't a single 8th grade one. Even the lowest grade was 1st grade. It was indeed a little shabby. All in all, there were more rank 3 and rank 4 martial artists, and they could still find quite a number of martial artists of this level. Very good. It's good enough that we have it. Thank you all. Yi Tianyun looked at them and said, "Be more vigilant now. The evil spirit race might attack again at any time. I'll go into seclusion first." After saying that, he went to the seclusion area, leaving the region lords looking at each other. They thought that they could see something, but it seemed like they couldn't. After Yi Tianyun came to the seclusion area, he took out the space that stored the light cores. He had collected so many light cores, so naturally he wanted to fuse them. He had the fusion system. If he fused them, he might be able to forcibly synthesize an 8th grade core. Therefore, no matter how many grades of light cores there were, he had to fuse them. Although this was a little wasteful at this point, he couldn't care less about whether it was wasteful or not. An 8th grade core was far better than a bunch of low-grade cores. Let's start fusing. I hope that this pile of things can help me successfully synthesize an 8th grade light core. Lee Tianyun glanced at the pile of light cores and started to fuse them. He immediately activated the fusion system mode and used his own 7th grade light core as a benchmark. Then he crazily smashed the light cores in. Successfully fused 7th grade light core. 7th grade light core strengthened by 1 level. Successfully fused 6th grade light core. 7th grade light core strengthened slightly. Successfully fused 5th grade light core. 7th grade light core strengthened slightly. Success. Piles of light cores began to fuse at a crazy speed. The light core in his body began to strengthen continuously. After smashing it in, it strengthened slightly, and the luster on the surface became slightly stronger. If this continued, the luster would only get higher and higher. It was obvious that it was getting stronger and stronger. If this continued, it would definitely be able to strengthen its core to the 8th grade. The premise was that this pile of light cores could really successfully upgrade the 7th grade core. The lower the grade, the smaller the effect was, almost only a little bit. However, he didn't give up. Instead, he kept smashing the light cores in. He believed that he would be able to upgrade it. If he couldn't upgrade it, he could only buy light cores. Of course, he could buy light cores. But he must first throw them into the shop, and then sell them once, then the light cores will appear in the shop. This is the simplest and most crude method, but the price is extremely high. Crazy point. It definitely needs to be a very high value. For example, if he sells it at most 100 compressed crazy point, if he wants to buy it back, he will need more than 10,000 compressed crazy point. In other words, 100 times the level. The price is extremely high, he can't keep on copying it. If the price is extremely low, then he will really explode. His crazy point is not low. If he threw in Empyrean Spirit Treasure, and then bought a lot of it, wouldn't he be able to upgrade a lot? Or throw in all kinds of precious 10,000 years spirit herbs, and then buy a lot of them? The answer is no, the extremely high price so that he can only buy a small part at most, and then all his crazy point will be empty. Unless he really has too much crazy point, he really doesn't dare to waste it. At present, it seems that his crazy point is still not enough. Some divine skills or bloodline, he doesn't dare to upgrade it. Upgrading is basically a lot of deficit. It's better to save it for a critical time. There is one last 7th grade core left. The last thing Lee Tianyun took was a 7th grade light core. The light core in his body has been emitting a dazzling white light. It seems that it can be upgraded by a little bit. With this 7th grade core, I should be able to upgrade it. Lee Tianyun kept such a 7th grade core, in fact, to throw it into the shop and sell it, and then buy it again. Now it seems that it should have reached the limit, it should be able to upgrade it. But he really can't guarantee it. After all, the appraisal I can't see how much can be upgraded. Let's take a gamble. Chapter 1777. Lee Tianyun feels that it should be enough. He doesn't want to throw it into the store and then buy it back. This means that he will lose a lot of money, which is really not what he wants to see. He calculated a little. If he does this, his crazy point will definitely be in deficit. One must know that he killed so many evil spirit race this time, he must have gained a lot of crazy point, but in the face of the 7th level light core, it still seems to be stretched. Immediately, he gritted his teeth and slammed the 7th level light core in, and then the light core began to bloom with dazzling light. Ding! Congratulations to player Lee Tianyun. Successfully upgraded the 7th level light core to 8th level light core. Accompanied by a crisp and sweet sound, Lee Tianyun successfully upgraded the 7th level light core to 8th level. The 7th level light core in his body immediately bloomed with more dazzling white light, and soon upgraded into a smaller, but the energy is compressed to a more amazing level. It still looks like the white light is shining, but it is more dazzling than before, more transparent and amazing. This is the 8th level core. It really succeeded. Lee Tianyun was happy. He felt that it was just a little bit away, but he felt that there should be no problem if he tried a little. Now it seems that there is really no problem. He successfully upgraded it. If that's the case, it won't be difficult to upgrade the other cores. Lee Tianyun thought of other cores. The grade is relatively low. If they can be upgraded, then his own strength will improve a lot. Now that the light core has been upgraded, it makes him feel that his strength has been greatly improved, especially in the light attribute cohesion. Whoever plays with the light attribute in front of him is courting death. Let's try the effect of this 8th level light core first. Lee Tianyun is a little excited. He just doesn't know the effect of the 8th level light core. This is the first time he has an 8th level light core. The effect should be very good. Immediately he flew out and soon came to the outermost area. The dark energy outside shrouded the outside even darker. A wave of pressure came head-on, making him feel a little uncomfortable. This discomfort is not causing him any pressure, but a kind of discomfort. It was like the environment wasn't suitable for them to live in. It was impossible for him to stay here for a long time. It would make him feel uncomfortable all over. Of course, with his current cultivation, it would not be a problem for him to stay here for a long time. However, for other cultivators, especially those with lower cultivation, it would be difficult for them to break through. Changing the environment was very important. Once it was no longer suitable for survival, it would be impossible to break through. In particular, this pitch-black energy also had a suppressive effect, making it impossible for them to unleash their full strength. Many cultivators had discovered this situation, but they were powerless to change it. They could only endure this effect. Lee Tianyun first chose the area above the divine domain, and then took out the 8th tier light core. In an instant, his body became as dazzling as the sun, radiating light in all directions and bursting out in all directions. The instant it blossomed, the pitch-black energy in the sky actually began to melt. The speed was not fast but rather slow. At a speed visible to the naked eye, it began to fade bit by bit, returning to its original color. Although it was still pitch-black, this pitch-black darkness did not give off any sense of pressure. Instead, it gave off a sense of intimacy. It's a little effective. Continue to open up. Lee Tianyun shouted. The light core in his body opened up completely, and a light dragon whizzed out, devouring the pitch-black energy in a frenzy. This time, its speed finally increased. In the blink of an eye, it had devoured a part of the area. It was quite shocking. The effect is not bad, but the consumption is a little high. Lee Tianyun was delighted. Although the speed was still very slow, overall it was already very good. At least he could continue to destroy it. It was not like he could not get rid of it no matter what he tried. He continued to clear it. The many cultivators below all saw what Lee Tianyun was doing, especially some of the region lords who had not left. When they saw this scene, they were dumbfounded, frightened by the scene. Didn't they say that there wouldn't be a rank 8 light core? How come there's one all of a sudden? This clearing speed is really fast. We've gone all out, but we've only cleared out a little bit at most. As expected of our nemesis light core. Yeah, didn't the chief say there was no 8th tier light core? How did it suddenly appear? It's just that according to this clearing speed, it's still a little slow. If only it could be a little faster. Isn't this fast enough? I could only clear a little bit when I risked my life previously. The chief's speed is already very fast. I should say that it's already not bad if he can clear it. They were still very surprised. Fortunately, they did not leave, so they did not miss this scene. The large-scale clearing of the black energy made them feel refreshed and happy. If this continued, this god territory would still be cleared. It was just that it was not just this area that was contaminated, but a large part of the god territory. A large part of the god territory was gradually contaminated. Some had already become very stubborn, and it was very difficult to clear it. Lee Tianyun could definitely clear it here. It was just that the speed was very slow. It seemed that the speed was not bad, but if it spread to the entire god territory, it would be a little slow. It would probably take a long time just to clean up this place. This way, it would be another god territory that would take a long time to clear. In this case, I don't know if it will be cleared before the God-Emperor battle begins. Cleared black blood, gained 1000 compressed EXP. Cleared black blood, gained 600 compressed EXP. At this time, every time a little bit of black blood is cleared, he gets different levels of EXP, which changes according to the concentration. It's just that the amount of EXP gained is relatively small, but if he continues to do this, he will definitely accumulate more EXP. Anyway, it's better than nothing. Even if it's mosquito meat, it's still meat. I can still get EXP, this is not bad, but the speed is really too slow, Tianyun frowned. If it was replaced with a 9th tier light core, it would definitely be faster. But where can he get a 9th tier light core? He can't buy a 9th tier light core even if he sold himself. Not to mention a 9th tier light core, he can't even buy 2 8th tier light cores with his current crazy point. When he was thinking about how to solve it, he suddenly remembered something: Evil Spirit's Orb. Chapter 1778. Fighting poison with poison was a good method. If the light element was hard to get rid of, what if it was the evil spirit race? Plus, with the evil spirit's pearl, the devouring would be even more shocking, right? He didn't use it immediately. Instead, he went to find Huan Mingyue to ask if this method was feasible. When he flew down, the other region lords surrounded him and asked, "Alliance leader, how did you get this grade 8 core? Didn't you say that you didn't have it?" "This grade 8 light core was given by you guys," Tianyun said with a smile. "We gave it." They looked at each other, not understanding what Tianyun meant. "Yes, you guys gave it to me. I used those low-grade light cores and forcefully absorbed and fused them to increase the effect." Tianyun didn't hide anything. This method was shocking, but he wasn't worried. When he was strong enough, there were some things that he didn't need to hide. If he said it, it would be even more helpful to him. For example, if they wanted to fuse something, they could ask him for help. This way, not only would they become stronger, but Tianyun would also benefit. They couldn't just let Tianyun fuse and not give anything, right? There's such an ability? They were shocked by this ability. This went against common sense. It had always been fixed and didn't have any effect. No matter how many low-grade cores there were, they wouldn't be able to fuse high-grade ones. Now that Tianyun was able to do this, they were shocked. Yes, but it requires a lot to improve, and it's quite difficult. I didn't say it before because I was afraid I would fail, so I didn't say it. After all, if I said it and failed, it would just be a disappointment, Tianyun explained with a smile. They looked at each other and hurriedly said, "Then, Alliance leader, can you help us fuse? We also want a higher grade core. We will pay you." "Yes, I have many low-grade cores of other elements. I don't need many, but it's fine if I can fuse higher-grade ones." Just like what Tianyun was thinking, they all wanted him to help them fuse with it and use it for themselves. "No problem. You just need to collect them." Tianyun gestured for them to bring it over. In any case, the fusion would only take a short while. It could be said that it didn't take much time. All he had to do was throw them all in. It didn't take him any time at all. That was why he was so straightforward. If he needed a long time, he definitely wouldn't be so straightforward and could only put it aside for now. "Alright, let's go get it now." One by one, they immediately ran to their own god territories and moved all the cores that they did not need over for Tianyun to fuse with. There were plenty of low-grade cores, but high-grade cores were too rare. They didn't have the ability to forcibly upgrade the core, but the core could slowly upgrade itself. When it absorbed enough energy, it would be upgraded. However, this process took a very long time. Just like those 10,000-year-old elixirs, it slowly grew. The speed was so slow that it made people anxious. After they left, Tianyun took advantage of this time to find Huan Mingyu. Huan Mingyu was cultivating. She was prepared to fight to the death with the evil spirit race at any moment. "Alliance leader, what's wrong?" Huan Mingyu slowly opened her eyes, her pitch-black eyes flickering with doubt. Her attitude was still cold, and nothing could cause her to waver. "Can you absorb the black energy that is enveloping it?" In other words, if the evil spirit race were to absorb it, would they be able to? Tianyun did not try. He planned to ask about the situation first. This won't do. The energy is too stable and cannot be easily absorbed. Unless it's a relatively strong evil spirit race, it needs to be at least at the Sky Sovereign level or above. Moreover, its bloodline must be pure enough, otherwise it will be impossible to absorb. Huan Mingyu explained, for example, my bloodline is not pure enough, so I can't absorb it for my own use. As for the other powerful evil spirit races, they can absorb it for their own use. In battle, this can also be used as a supply. It's quite troublesome. Huan Mingyu shook his head. When he thought of the big problem, he felt extremely troubled. There's such a thing. Yi Tianyun's expression changed. It was equivalent to filling the sky with pills. When he consumed too much, he would directly devour them to recover. The key was that they could not use this kind of supply. Only the evil spirit race could use it. Actually, I just remembered a little. I didn't expect it to have such a disgusting effect. If we continue to fight, it will be extremely disadvantageous to us. Huan Mingyu said, this is not just disadvantageous, it's simply a great danger. Yi Tianyun said in a deep voice, then I'll control it and try absorbing it now. What should I do? Huan Mingyu thought for a moment, then was startled. Could it be that puppet? But that puppet is still a puppet. Will its bloodline be very pure? Whether the bloodline is pure or not is another matter. What if I use the evil spirit's orb? Yi Tianyun chuckled. He already had a premonition that he could devour it crazily. That's true. Huan Mingyu's expression was filled with joy. He finally revealed a different expression. Then I'll give it a try now. Yi Tianyun quickly summoned the evil spirit puppet. He was not in a hurry to use it immediately. Instead, he continuously smashed the evil spirit race's materials onto its body. He had killed so many evil spirit races, the materials must be quite astonishing. Perhaps it wouldn't be able to level up by a lot, but it would still be a little. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Tianyun for successfully leveling up the evil spirit puppet to the early stage of the God Realm. Ding! Congratulations to player Yi Tianyun for successfully leveling up the evil spirit puppet to the middle stage of the God Realm. After a round of fierce smashing, the evil spirit puppet had actually risen to the level of a god, and was even stronger than Yi Tianyun. Of course, its overall strength was definitely inferior. He only made the evil spirit puppet's strength a little stronger, so that it could control the evil spirits or better. Why do I feel that the strength of this evil spirit puppet seems to have increased by several levels? Huan Mingyu even suspected that he was mistaken. How could he feel such a situation? Without doing anything, it suddenly became stronger. How could it not be strange? This is all your illusion, don't worry about it. Yi Tianyun took out the evil spirit's orb and threw it into the evil spirit puppet's body. If it was any other domain lord, they would definitely be shocked. This way of controlling all the evil spirit's orb would definitely be extremely easy to devour. Otherwise, why would it be scattered across several god realms? But the evil spirit puppet was different. It could cut off essence chi, so it was naturally not afraid of being absorbed. It could control it however it wanted. Chapter 1779. After he was ready, he immediately controlled the evil spirit puppet to fly outside. However, this evil spirit puppet was slightly concealed by Yi Tianyun's power to prevent other cultivators from seeing it. If it was seen, it would easily cause chaos, so he might as well hide it. Unless one's cultivation was slightly stronger, otherwise, one would not be able to see what its true form was. After the evil spirit puppet flew out, it quickly began to revolve the evil spirit's pearl in its body. An incomparably evil power began to circulate in its body. However, it did not seep out of its body, but circulated inside its body. As time passed, the power became stronger and stronger. The power of the evil spirit's pearl had already been gradually released. The evil spirit puppet's power also began to increase crazily. Its battle strength suddenly jumped to the upper heavenly god stage, then rushed to the middle stage, followed by the late stage, and finally reached a state close to the god emperor. Even if the incomparably evil power was not released, it would immediately attract the attention of various experts and domain lords. However, Lee Tianyun immediately transmitted his voice to them, telling them not to worry, this was just his puppet. Only then did they feel at ease. Otherwise, this aura would really be very frightening. How did the Alliance Master get this thing? It's really scary. They were all frightened. This power was really incomparably strong and incomparably evil. If not for Lee Tianyun saying it, they would really think that the evil emperor had descended. Speaking of which, what does the Alliance Master want to do by getting this puppet here? They did not know, especially when they saw Lee Tianyun stop to clear the black energy. They felt that it was a little strange. Previously, it was still continuously clearing, but after clearing for a short while, it did not continue. When they were guessing what Lee Tianyun wanted to do, suddenly, the evil spirit puppet in the air opened its huge mouth and swallowed. The surrounding black energy began to flow into the evil spirit puppet's mouth like flowing water. This speed was much faster than Lee Tianyun's slow clearing. It was simply not on the same level. In the blink of an eye, a large area was sucked dry, all absorbed into the evil spirit puppet's body. Absorbing could restore the body. This method had its advantages and disadvantages. The advantage was that he could recover his body at a critical moment. The disadvantage was that an area would be immediately sucked dry. This was equivalent to returning the environment to its original state, which was naturally not worth it. However, when the evil spirit race really attacked, they would definitely not just absorb one side. This would be too much of a scam. At most, he would absorb a little thinner and change to another area. He wouldn't be like Lee Tianyun, sucking in everything in one go. This speed is amazing. Even a 9th-level light core wouldn't have this kind of speed, Lee Tianyun said as he was shocked by the speed of the light core. Previously, he thought that his speed had increased, but he didn't expect it to be so heaven-defying. It wouldn't take long for them to clear the sky above God's domain. In terms of speed, it was at least 10 times faster than Lee Tianyun. With such speed, there was no need for Lee Tianyun to do anything. The evil spirit puppet was enough. Although he didn't need the light core in his body anymore, it would be of great help in battle or to increase his own strength. Therefore, it wasn't a wasted improvement. It was still very effective. When the time came to fight with the evil emperor, it would be a very good trump card. The effect is indeed shocking. It seems that if this continues, the clearing speed will be much faster. However, this way the evil emperor will probably make a move soon. Huan Mingyue's eyes were extremely cold. Lee Tianyun nodded. This was equivalent to forcing the evil emperor out. The environment that he had painstakingly set up was destroyed just like that. How could he just watch as everything was cleared? It wouldn't be long before the evil emperor rushed out. Before that, he would clear as many as he could. It was better than being enveloped. Looks like I have to make more heavenly venerables. Even if they can't compare to this one, at least their absorption speed is much faster than ours. Lee Tianyun had already calculated and planned to make more evil spirit puppets later. They didn't need to have a high cultivation level. They just needed to be heavenly venerables. After making them, he would distribute them to various places to absorb them. This would definitely speed up the clearing process. Many cultivators were shocked when they saw this scene. Some people who didn't know what was going on thought that some almighty had come to help. Such a terrifying power had drained the black energy that everyone was worried about. This terrifying speed was really shocking. Then Lee Tianyun went to create other evil spirit puppets. As long as there were enough materials, he could create unlimited evil spirit puppets without any restrictions. It was just that he had stuffed too many evil spirit puppets previously. The remaining materials were still relatively small, so the number of evil spirit puppets that he could create was relatively small. However, this didn't matter. When he went to kill a group of evil spirit clan again, a lot of materials would drop. All of you, go and clear this black energy for me. Lee Tianyun immediately released this batch of evil spirit puppets. One by one, they quickly rushed in all directions and began to devour the black energy. The clearing speed was not as fast as the evil spirit puppets with the evil spirit's pearl, but it was a level faster than Lee Tianyun. This kind of result was enough for him. But Lee Tianyun didn't stay idle. He also went to help clean up. He can clean up as much as he can, anyway he has nothing to do. At the same time, the situation here was quickly known by the evil emperor. The evil emperor had been placing spies nearby. As long as there was any unusual movement, he would know immediately. What? There is an expert of my clan helping to clean up the black blood. Is he the descendant of the evil spirits? The evil emperor frowned and said, "What is this guy doing?" He took away the dark fantasy moon and now he is helping to clean up. Is he still an expert of my clan? What exactly did that kid do to win him over so tightly? I'm not too sure about this. It seems that he is using the power of the evil spirit's pearl to devour the black blood. If this continues, I'm afraid. The elders below had ugly expressions. It was not easy for them to successfully set up a trap, but now there was a traitor. These guys have a lot of ideas. It seems that the plan has to be brought forward, but the preparations are almost done. The evil emperor stood up, took a deep breath and said, "Now start to organize the army. In 3 days, we will launch an all-out attack and start the war of the God Emperors. At that time, I will become the God Emperor and rule this world." The evil emperor's eyes were burning, and the depths of his eyes were filled with fanaticism. For this moment, he had prepared for a long time. In the first war of the God Emperors, he had already started preparing. However, at that time, the leader was not him, but the evil spirits. Chapter 1780. Under Yi Tianyun's leadership, the various areas were frantically devouring the black blood. The areas that were originally enveloped by the black energy began to gradually become less oppressive. However, overall, the speed was still too slow. After all, the black blood had already spread to more than half of the divine realm's forces. It was not an easy task to get rid of it. It could even be said to be a very difficult task that required a considerable amount of time. However, Yi Tianyun did not hope to be able to completely eliminate it. He only needed to eliminate the black blood near the forces. At the very least, when the evil spirit race attacked, there was no corresponding bonus effect. Unless they filled in the gaps again, there would be no bonus effect. As for whether the black blood would condense again after being eliminated, it was already fixed and would not continue to spread. Therefore, he only needed to clean up a little and it would not condense again. Emptying the space above would make it slightly safer. Of course, it was slightly safer. At least he would not be directly crushed. Hurry up, continue to go faster. Yi Tianyun continued to speed up, hoping to be faster. Otherwise, he really would not be able to clean up the black blood. As long as he could clean up the black blood near the various divine realms before the battle, it would be considered a success. However, his current speed was still too slow. He hoped to be a little faster. He had a premonition that the evil emperor would kill his way over very soon. If he could not settle it before then, it would be troublesome. As long as there was an empty area, he believed that the evil emperor, as his main body, would definitely not approach it. If he got close, he would definitely be suppressed. He wasn't sure what the effects of the suppression would be, but one thing was for sure, and that was that it would be very serious. If it was not serious, the evil emperor would have sent his main body long ago. Time passed quickly. On the 3rd day, he finally cleaned up most of the areas above the divine realm's forces. There were still a small number of areas that had not been completely cleaned up. This was already quite shocking. If it was before, he would probably only be able to clean up the area of 1 or 2 divine realms in 3 days. This speed was too slow. Indeed, if he wanted the best effect, he had to use the evil spirit's pearl. It could be said that during this period of time, most of the black blood was devoured by the evil spirit puppet with the evil spirit's pearl. That speed was really too shocking. It absorbed a large piece in the blink of an eye, so the evil spirit puppet contributed the most. As he continued to devour the black blood, an urgent message suddenly came. The evil spirits were attacking. The area that the message came from was indeed the cultivation god realm. In other words, it was one of the god domains that he had previously estimated, the god domain that possessed the evil god's pearl. The evil gods did not know about this, so they naturally attacked the heaven cultivation celestial domain first, wanting to snatch it from the heaven cultivation celestial domain. Even if the cultivation did not have the evil spirit's divine pearl, it would still be the evil spirit. After all, the heaven cultivation god realm was also a member of the divine emperor battle back then. He had even annihilated a lot of the evil spirit race, and now he had even become the guardian of the evil god orb. Cultivation, it did not have. Divine god of realm. Spirit, as expected of the heavenly cultivation god realm. Without any hesitation, Tianyun immediately used the teleportation god stone to fly to the heaven cultivation celestial realm. At the same time, he also sent out a message for the other experts to quickly go and provide support. However, he couldn't send out too many experts. Otherwise, the main body's strength would be depleted, and they wouldn't be able to defend it. Who knew if the evil emperor would come up with a diversion, pretending to attack the heaven cultivation god realm, but actually arranging for other experts to attack another region. Therefore, it was necessary to leave some experts behind to keep watch. Even if they couldn't defend the city, they could at least hold on for a while so that the other forces could arrive to support them. If they couldn't even hold on, then they would be annihilated before reinforcements could arrive. Obviously, they had failed. In the next second, Tianyun appeared outside the heaven cultivation god realm. What came into sight was an extremely terrifying force enveloping the entire area. And the source of this terrifying power was the energy emitted by an evil spirit race in front of them. Evil Emperor Original Body. Power that is infinitely close to the level of a god emperor. It belongs to the level of a demigod emperor. It had the most evil devouring ability, and any of its attacks contained devouring power that could devour everything. In a suitable environment, one's strength can be fully displayed. In an unsuitable environment, one's strength can be suppressed to 20%. Super Demigod Emperor, what kind of name was that? When he saw the effect of suppressing the environment, Tianyun was really shocked. He didn't expect the effect of the environment to be so great. It seemed that the repulsiveness of this world was still very great. Especially the higher one's cultivation, the stronger the repulsiveness. Suppressing the effect to 20%, this was really a scam. On the other hand, the other evil spirit heavenly venerables could at most suppress their strength to 60% to 70%, which wasn't that exaggerated. Now that they were in a suitable environment, their strength was restored to its original state, and even increased. No wonder they would pay a huge price and sacrifice their subordinates. Just for this effect, the sacrifice was really worth it. Super Demigod Emperor, is this the strength of the evil emperor's main body? Tianyun's pupils constricted. This power was really too strong, he didn't even know how to describe it. He could only say that it was several times stronger than the previous evil emperor, or even more than 10 times stronger. This was the strength of the main body that wasn't suppressed. At this moment, the sky above the heaven cultivation god realm was quickly shrouded by black blood. The cause of this scene was naturally the evil emperor sending a large number of subordinates to fight crazily and then sacrifice their own blood to the heavens. This way, the previous gap was immediately filled, especially when Tianyun saw some evil spirit race rushing into the void directly to play self-destruct, blowing themselves up into pieces. At the same time, blood splattered out, quickly filling the gap. Do you think that I can't do anything to you just by breaking through a little bit? The evil emperor's main body was no different from his clone. Whether it was his appearance or the details of his body, they were exactly the same. The only difference was the difference in strength. There was no other difference. When the heaven cultivation god realm was about to be filled, a huge shadow emerged from the heaven cultivation god realm. How dare you, evil spirit race? Don't be presumptuous. The shadow of the heaven cultivation patriarch emerged from the heaven cultivation god realm. He didn't expect to be able to erupt again at this critical moment. The previous eruptions seemed to have been exhausted, and he didn't expect to be able to erupt again in such a short time. This should be because the heaven cultivation domain lord and the others kept replenishing their energy so they could use it again. You're just a soul, and you dare to be arrogant in front of me? The evil emperor grabbed the void, and a huge hand of the Grim Reaper fiercely grabbed the Heaven Cultivation Patriarch's attack from the pitch-black sky, and at the same time, squeezed. Bang! The Heaven Cultivation Patriarch's main body's attack was crushed just like that. At the same time, the energy of the crushed Heaven Cultivation Patriarch was absorbed by the evil Emperor, becoming a part of his body. Chapter 1781. The monstrous patriarch of the Heaven Cultivation sect had been crushed just like that, and he would never be able to recover. He had already used it once, so he would be able to summon it again after replenishing his energy. But things were different now. His soul had been crushed, so there was no way to summon him again. The Vile Emperor's power was truly terrifying. Such an astonishing attack reminded them of when Heavenly God Torrential Cloud had been rescued by a black hand of the Grim Reaper when he was fleeing. There was no doubt that he had encountered this black hand, and it was an identical attack. It looked like the one who had saved Heavenly God Torrential Cloud was the Vile Emperor himself. How dare a puny soul like you act so arrogantly? Even if your true body is still alive, you are still an ant to me. The Vile Emperor chuckled coldly. To him, he could easily crush anything within his area of effect. This was the extent of his power. The plan that had been set up for many years had finally begun. These self-detonating subordinates couldn't just casually stain the air with their black blood. Instead, they had to set up all types of formations to do so. There were all types of formations carved onto the surface of their bodies, as well as black crystals embedded into them. After they died, they would quickly release the black blood to fill up the air and modify the environment. In order to do this, all types of materials and formations had to be carved onto their bodies, which would take a lot of time. If this could be done so easily, the Vile Emperor probably wouldn't have needed to prepare for so long. He would have attacked long ago. Yi Tianyun's heart jolted as he watched from afar. He didn't think it would be this powerful. If that move was used against the Heaven Cultivation Celestial Realm, it wouldn't take long before the entire Heaven Cultivation Celestial Realm was destroyed. The Heaven Cultivation God Realm was filled with anguished wails. Their patriarch had really died. How could they not be sad and enraged? Vile Emperor, I'm going to kill you. The patriarchs of the Heaven Cultivation God Realm all had bloodshot eyes as they prepared to fight the Vile Emperor to the death. How could they not be enraged that their patriarch had died? Just as they were about to charge forward, streaks of divine light suddenly converged from all directions and shot toward the Vile Emperor. Not only did the streaks of divine light tear through the air, but they also completely purified one evil spirit after another. After the divine light pierced through the black blood, it pierced towards the evil emperor, wanting to punch countless holes into his body. A bunch of old farts, are you finally willing to come out? The evil emperor expressionlessly stretched out his hand and flicked lightly. These seemingly invincible attacks were deflected into countless motes of light, which were then absorbed into his body, becoming a part of him. Such an astonishing attack was broken by him in a seemingly casual manner. It was extremely easy. Following that, more than a dozen figures appeared one after another. Every single one of them was extremely old, as if they were half a step into a coffin. There were also many black spots on their bodies. These black spots were not ordinary black spots, but the devour energy that the evil spirits had left on them. Now, it kept disturbing them, causing them so much pain that they wished they were dead. However, they still persevered and persevered until the second battle of God Emperors. Yi Tianyun glanced at them and discovered that each and every one of them was an ancient heavenly deity. Not only that, they were extremely powerful. All of them were half-step God Emperors. Not one of them wasn't. But now, there were half-step God Emperors and existences that surpassed them. They could be said to be a head above them. No wonder they are unwilling to come out. After this battle, no matter who wins or loses, they will fall. When Yi Tianyun saw their states, he could only shake his head. He was helpless. The bodies of these experts were not good enough and they could not last for too long. Once they used their full strength, they would be corroded and turn into dried corpses. This meant that once they came out, they would definitely die. Unless it was a crucial moment, they would not appear. As for gathering together, they would attack and wipe out the evil spirit race. That was still too difficult for them. If they tried to hide, they would only be exhausted to death. Hence, they could only appear at the most crucial moment. It might seem late, but it was the best time to sacrifice their lives. More than a dozen half-step god emperors, almost every one of them was equivalent to the drug god. In other words, the next step was to become a god emperor. However, the last step was impossible, so they could only stay at this stage. One could see many things from them. They were just one step away, but the difference was like heaven and earth. They would never be able to get close. Before they died, they would not be able to successfully break through. But the attacks from more than a dozen half-step god emperors were easily blocked by the evil emperor. Is that so? Then fight with us. Who would have thought that someone who was just at the level of evil spirit god would become such an expert? He even knows such a secret technique. We were too careless. So what? We could seal the evil spirits back then. This time we can seal you too. Although they were not the ones who sealed the half-step god emperors, they were all part of it. The one who sealed the evil emperor was naturally the ancestor of the god spirit race. He sacrificed his life to seal the evil emperor. As for why they were in seclusion for so long, they wanted to master the sealing technique so that they could seal the evil emperor. I know that person. He is heavenly deity Long Tai, one of the god generals who resisted the evil spirits. I didn't expect him to still be alive. I have read about him in the books. He must be heavenly deity Baoyuan. Rumor has it that he has countless treasures that he can use against his enemies. Ah, that is my goal, the longevity heavenly deity. Their appearance immediately caused many cultivators to be dumbfounded. They didn't expect that so many veteran heavenly gods would appear. They were famous heavenly deities in the battle of the god emperors back then. If not for them, the battle of the god emperors would have been lost. Now that they had reappeared in the world, they were all very excited. They did not expect that they had been protecting the world, protecting them. At the most crucial moment, they had all appeared to light up the last of their candles. Seal me? The evil emperor sneered. Do you think I am the evil spirits? Winner takes all. His failure was because he was too weak. How far do you think I am from the evil spirits back then? The evil emperor sneered and started to criticize the evil spirits in front of his subordinates. Previously, he was very respectful to the evil spirits. Now, he was criticizing a failed senior. A failure was a failure. As long as he succeeded, even if the evil spirits were reborn, they would have to kneel before him. Chapter 1782. Over a dozen half-step god emperors. It was a huge formation. All of them unleashed their full power. The energy stored in their bodies was released in one day. One by one, the old men, who looked extremely old, instantly turned into sturdy young men. The moment they regained their youthful appearance, they looked like young men. At this moment, they were the strongest and most vigorous. Correspondingly, they could only maintain this stage for a short period of time. If they could not suppress the evil emperor within this period of time, they would be met with a complete end. This was not them regaining their youthfulness. Instead, they were releasing all their energy to make themselves younger. It was like the final radiance of a setting sun. This meant that they could only succeed in this battle. Failure was not allowed. If they failed, not only would they be finished, the evil emperor would not be sealed. It would be a huge loss for both sides. Go! The dozen half-step god emperors did not delay. They immediately unleashed their strongest moves. Rays of divine light radiated from the surface of their bodies. They joined hands in a tacit manner and formed a huge halo. Without a doubt, this was the sealing formation. It was set up in an instant. After years of cooperation, they were very tacit. Hence, they did not need much time to prepare to set up such a sealing formation. In order to set up this sealing formation, they should have prepared for a long time to prevent such a situation from happening again. It was difficult for them to eliminate all of them. After all, during the first battle of God Emperors, they had already overdrafted their lives. Now, they were just struggling at death's door. If they were fine, then forget about the evil spirit race, Any random race could be annihilated together. But they could only appear once. Moreover, they could only appear at the most crucial moment. After being released, the dense net of light sealed the surroundings. Not only did it seal the evil emperor inside, but it also sealed the other evil spirit race members. Then they quickly closed up. Wherever they went, the ordinary evil spirit heavenly lord or evil spirit heavenly god would be vaporized when they touched the dense net of light. Not even a speck was left. The terrifying purifying effect was really invincible. Over a dozen half-step god emperors used their full power to release power. How could it not be terrifying? Tian Yun, who was at the side, looked at the situation from afar. He was shocked. This power was indeed shocking. If he were to be trapped by this power, it would be difficult for him to escape. Initially, he had wanted to come over to help, but now, it seemed like there was no need for him to help anymore. Or rather, if he were to interfere, he would only make things worse. He wasn't familiar with these seniors, so he couldn't coordinate well with them. He could only hope that he could seal the vile emperor and put an end to all of this. As long as the evil emperor was sealed, the rest would be easy to deal with. The net of light swept across, causing the faces of many evil spirit races to change, feeling extremely terrified. When he turned his head around to look at evil emperor looked calm, and he did not feel fear at all. Who would have thought that you bunch of old undyings would possess such power? I truly didn't expect that, the vile emperor said, nodding in approval. I didn't expect it. Then seal it for us, shouted one of them. He used all his power to sweep forward, and when he got close to evil emperor, he instantly turned into a wall of light that trapped evil emperor. Evil emperor didn't move. It should be said that from the start, he didn't move at all. Just as they were about to seal him, the vile emperor suddenly raised his head, and a strange smile appeared on his face. They were stunned, but they didn't stop. Instead, they continued to seal him in circles, wanting to completely seal him in place. Tian Yun felt that it was weird. He felt that evil emperor was fearless and confident. In the next moment, evil emperor extended his hand and tapped a few times. His fingers were immediately burnt by the energy, but he didn't stop and continued to tap a few more times. Quang dang. After tapping a few times, the thick wall of light suddenly had a crack, followed by 2, 3. It became more and more concentrated. The dozen half-step god emperors were shocked when they saw this, and their lips trembled as they shouted. No, impossible. Just as he shouted out, impossible, there was a hong sound and the thick light wall shattered. Over a dozen half-step god emperors were sent flying by the explosion. The sealing formation that they had painstakingly created was broken just like that. Once the formation was broken, it meant that they were going to suffer from the backlash. Evil emperor didn't even need to use any strength to heavily injure them. After spitting out a few mouthfuls of blood, their muscular bodies started to shrivel up. His pitch-black hair began to turn slightly white, and it gradually spread to the rest of his hair. Their old age started to cover their bodies once again. Such consumption had a huge impact on them. They were originally on their last breath, and now that they were on their last breath, they would definitely be beaten back to their original state. This is your trump card? Evil Emperor laughed coldly. This seal of yours isn't new at all. It's the same as before. The same seal and you want to use it twice? Do you think I am stupid? It turned out that the evil emperor had long since researched it. Back then, the evil emperor had been ruthlessly sealed, causing their army to collapse. Evil emperor was definitely prepared. If there was such a seal again, he had the confidence to break it. After all, he had already found the weakness, so it would be easy for him to break it. No wonder he was so calm. He was waiting for them to come over to seal him, and then fiercely break them. This way, he didn't even need to do much, and the power of the backlash repelled them. This was strategy. He didn't need to use any strength to easily repel a dozen half-step god emperors. If not for that, he could indeed repel them, just that he would need to spend more strength. Now, they were basically giving themselves up. Evil Emperor beat them at their own game, easily breaking it. When Evil Emperor said that, their expressions changed. They didn't expect that they would lose the game because of one move. Without the seal, How could they deal with evil emperor? Not only was the combined seal shockingly powerful, it could also erupt with its strongest power, harvesting the other evil spirit race along the way, and even heavily injure evil emperor. Who knew that they were wrong? They didn't expect that evil emperor had researched this kind of combined seal, and even found a flaw. It was clear that evil emperor's ability wasn't as simple as just strength. He also grasped the ability to break formations. This meant that he had a divine carving master standard that wasn't low. It was very likely that he was at the 8th or 9th grade. Chapter 1783. Fight. More than 10 half-step god emperors roared. Once again, they unleashed their strongest power and surged towards evil emperor. Their combined seal was meaningless. No matter how they used it, it would be broken. Although the seal could not be used, they were all half-step god emperors. They had to kill the evil emperor at all costs. At the very least, they had to injure the evil emperor and make him hide for a while. This was the only thing they could do. This was the last time they would show their faces in the world. Boom, boom, boom. One terrifying move after another blasted toward the evil emperor. Each move could destroy a planet and kill a large number of experts. This was the power of a half-step god emperor. They had more than a dozen half-step god emperors. The entire space shook violently as if it was going to collapse at any time. How could the power of the attacks from so many half-step god emperors be weak? Especially with their years of tacit understanding, even if they could not combine to attack, they could at least gather their power and attack the evil emperor. Under the frenzied attacks, the space in front was shaking. Many of the cultivators below widened their eyes as they watched. They all hoped that the evil emperor would be blasted to death. If such a terrifying evil emperor were to die, then everything would be over. The remaining evil spirit race could be dealt with slowly. The strongest evil emperor had to be dealt with first. Sometimes, the most powerful person was the key to victory. When one's cultivation reached a certain level, just relying on numbers was meaningless. Can we really kill the evil emperor? There are more than a dozen powerful heavenly gods, all half-step god emperors. Can they not kill the evil emperor? I hope they can really kill him. Kill that bastard evil emperor. They gritted their teeth. They were unable to interfere, but they could help kill some evil spirit races. The rest of the evil spirit race did not stop attacking. They continued to attack the heaven cultivation god domain. The war did not stop because of this. There was no need to stop. They continued to kill. For glory and for the development of the evil spirit race. The heaven cultivation god domain was also defending to prevent the evil spirit race from attacking. Reinforcements rushed over to strengthen the defense of the heaven cultivation god domain. However, the evil emperor's side was the one that attracted the most attention. If the evil emperor died, it would be their victory. On the other hand, they did not know who could suppress the evil emperor. With such heaven-defying power, even a dozen of half-step god emperors could not deal with him. Who else could? There were very few half-step god emperors. If they could not deal with them with their strength, they did not know who else could. This strength isn't bad, but it's still quite lacking. Do you plan to use this bit of power to deal with this emperor? If that's really the case, then this emperor is too disappointed. As the evil emperor laughed coldly, the dense energy from the explosion quickly retracted. In the end, what appeared before everyone's eyes was evil emperor's swollen body. His body was slightly damaged. However, these wounds all turned into cyclones and began to absorb the energy that bombarded them into their bodies. After this energy entered his body, it even began to heal his injuries. Not only did his aura not weaken, it even showed signs of strengthening. His powerful devouring ability could even devour their attacks into his body. Looking at evil emperor's expression, he looked like he was enjoying it. That was simply too sick. They were dumbfounded. So many strong attacks, and not only did the evil emperor not block them, but he used his body to take them. He forcefully absorbed their attacks and turned them into his own. Our attacks have no effect at all. The group of old experts' faces turned green. They did not expect that after using all their strength, they could only cause light injuries. His injuries were still recovering quickly, And he even used their energy to recover. That was extremely ironic. How could they continue like this? 5 dragons roar. At this moment, a 5-colored light pierced through the void. Evil Emperor immediately felt a sense of danger coming from the back of his head. He subconsciously dodged to the side, but the opponent's sneak attack speed was not slow either. Under the situation where one move could not penetrate his head, he quickly turned and stabbed his body. Pucci, the long spear pierced through Evil Emperor's body, directly piercing his heart. At the same time, among the 5 dragons, one of the light dragons was the brightest. It was madly purifying his body. Scram! With a furious roar, the Evil Emperor sent a backhand slap behind him, sending a ball of green light flying a long distance away. At the same time, a spear was left behind him, pinning him in place. The one who was sent flying was naturally Yi Tianyun. His body was unharmed. A bright light shone on the surface of his body. He used an invincible move, so naturally he was unharmed. Such a violent strike. If he really took it head-on, his body would still be slapped into 2. Previously, when he faced Evil Emperor's attack, he was slightly injured. Facing the main body's attack, if he did not do that, he would probably be slapped into pieces. Evil Emperor was much stronger than his clone, so how would he dare to take it head-on? But his sneak attack was successful. He successfully injured Evil Emperor's body, but unfortunately, he was unable to pierce his head. 1 spear would be enough to kill Evil Emperor. When the others saw this scene, they were really shocked. Dozens of half-step god emperors were unable to injure Evil Emperor. But now, he was stabbed by Yi Tianyun, and his head almost exploded. Yes, it's Alliance Leader. Alliance Leader is amazing. I almost forgot that there's still Alliance Leader. Yes, Alliance Leader could fight Evil Emperor head-on. Unexpectedly, he managed to sneak attack the main body. It's a pity that he couldn't kill him in 1 move. Otherwise, he would be able to kill Evil Emperor. Suddenly, the cultivators started to get excited. Their low morale was ignited. They saw hope in Yi Tianyun. Evil Emperor, who seemed invincible, was injured by Yi Tianyun and almost killed. How could their low morale not be raised? In a battle, the most terrifying thing was to give up and despair. Once you gave up, everything would be over. You again. Evil Emperor pulled out 5 dragon divine spear. A stream of black blood flowed out. But it quickly healed. The recovery speed was slow. Seems like the restraint of light attribute was quite effective. It was not easy to absorb into the body. Yes, it's me again, old friend. Yi Tianyun looked at him calmly and said, even if it's your main body, I can still injure you. Don't think that there's no one in this world. Not only me, there are other experts who haven't come out. Chapter 1784. Yi Tianyun would not attack head-on. Attacking head-on was the job of the dozen seniors. If he randomly went over, he would only disturb them. Thus, he could only choose to launch a sneak attack. The moment the explosion ended, he immediately appeared behind the heretical emperor and launched a ruthless sneak attack. This combination meant that the dozen seniors' attacks would not be in vain, and it would still have the effect of attracting attention. Against a person like the heretical emperor, choosing to attack head-on instead of sneak attacks would not make one look honorable and just, but foolish. And you want to fight against Evil Emperor in the open? The Evil Emperor had done countless atrocious things in the dark. Anyone who chose to attack him in the open would be an idiot. Besides sneak attacks, what else can you do? The vile Emperor pulled out the 5 dragons' divine spear, then let out an enraged roar and reached out with his hand, snapping the spear in 2. Given the explosive power of the spear, snapping an Empyrean spirit treasure was no problem at all. Yi Tianyun expressionlessly looked at the Empyrean spirit treasure. His old friend had been broken, and he still felt a bit sad. It had accompanied him to kill countless evil spirit race, but now it had been broken. It was a bit of a pity. However, even if the 5 dragon divine spear was broken, he had already completed his duty. Against a person like you, as long as I can kill you, it is a good move, whether it's a sneak attack or not. Yi Tianyun's expression was indifferent. Good. I want to see if you can still sneak attack me. The heretical emperor was immediately enraged. It had always been Yi Tianyun who made things difficult for him. He always wanted to tear Yi Tianyun to pieces, but he always failed. This time, his main body should be able to kill Yi Tianyun. The difference between the two was too great. As long as it was not a sneak attack, he was very confident that he could kill Yi Tianyun directly. Don't worry, I already said that besides me, there are others who want to deal with you. In this battle, I won't be the only one who wants to kill you. Yi Tianyun sneered. Immediately, several figures appeared beside him. They were the Sword Edge Region Master, the Cloud Piercer Region Master, and the others. These were the forces of the new generation, and they shouldered the strongest power. Not only that, but the drug god also came with them. The drug god was also an extremely strong half-step god emperor, but compared to the evil emperor, he was still slightly inferior. The main thing was that the evil emperor had a buff. With the buff from the black energy around him, his power was even more shocking. It might have seemed as if the vile emperor had devoured all of the energy, but he had actually released most of it, allowing this region to absorb it for him. This was equivalent to him setting up a huge formation in the celestial realm, covering almost the entire celestial realm. He was the controller of the formation. He could control it however he wanted. Just now, he had used it to absorb the power of the attack. If he absorbed a little, the formation would absorb more than half. With the rest of his body, there were no injuries to speak of. Yi Tianyun's attack was an exception. The formation did not even have time to absorb it before it exploded on Evil Emperor. At least this proved that the Evil Emperor was not truly invincible. There was still a chance if they fought hard. Evil Emperor, you have deceived the Medicine God Temple for so long. This time it is time to pay back. The drug god looked at the Evil Emperor angrily. There was no problem with his body. With the nourishment of so many 10,000-year-old elixirs, as long as he was not dead, he could quickly recover. At the same time, the drug god threw out those elixirs, which quickly flew to the dozen seniors, constantly replenishing their vitality, so that they could last longer. From this point, it could be seen that the drug god was making up for his mistakes. If it were not for this group of experts, the Medicine God Temple would have fallen and become the slaves of the evil spirit race. Now, he released all the elixirs to extend their lives. With the vast vitality, their situation quickly improved, but it was still difficult for them to completely recover. They had stayed in this stage for too long. Even with 10,000-year-old elixirs, they could not recover. But it was not a problem to let them live a little longer. Deceive you? The evil emperor sneered. That's because you are too stupid. If you weren't too stupid, how could you have been fooled? The evil emperor's sarcasm was very sharp, making the drug god's face gloomy. This was not to say that they were stupid, it could only be said that they respected and worshipped their ancestors too much. They felt that their ancestors were omnipotent and didn't feel any pressure sending voice transmissions. Therefore, when the first voice transmission came back, they immediately believed it and didn't check it too much. This was a problem of faith. It could not be said that they were stupid. It was just that this kind of thing really made people feel pity. They had been deceived for so long and had been used as a gun. It was really pitiful. Whether I am stupid or not, you will know in a while. The drug god stretched out his hand, and his body immediately released a green light. The power of the drug god's body was completely released. The drug god's body could not only attract the power of elixirs, but it could also bring out the effect of elixirs to the extreme. Immediately after, a 10,000-year-old elixir lay on his body and began to inject energy into it, and his aura rose crazily. This is the blood-bathing ginseng. Yi Tianyun narrowed his eyes and immediately knew what it was. As the name suggested, the blood-bathing ginseng meant to fight in blood. After absorbing it, it would greatly increase one's strength. The drug god with the drug god's body could not only increase the power and effect several times, but also reduce the side effects to a minimum. Under these blessings, his strength rapidly increased. It could be said that he took a few steps forward on the foundation of a half-step god emperor. Not only the drug god, but also the other region lords, all took out their strongest treasures, ready to fight to the death with the drug god. Thank you for the elixirs provided by the drug god. It seems that this time we will have to fight with the younger generation. Evil Emperor, we suffered a loss, but don't bully us because we have no one here. That's right, we will completely clear you out, so that your entire race will never be able to come in. One by one, the seniors stood up. They only absorbed briefly and then stood up one after another. They wanted to attack collectively and would not let the younger generation fight. They would always be the vanguard. Such a scene made everyone's blood boil and their fighting spirit soar. With so many companions around, they all stood together and united at the crucial moment. No matter who the enemy was, they could be repelled. Chapter 1785. The evil emperor stretched out his hand and grabbed at the air. The black blood in the air started to emit a pitch-black light, instantly lighting up the entire space. However, this light caused the space to turn black and not emit white light. The pitch-black light shone down from above and quickly enveloped them. At the same time, a suction force continuously surged over, sucking the energy in their bodies upwards. It could even be said that if it was pulled up bit by bit, those with low cultivation would immediately have their energy extracted, unable to stop it. Those with strong cultivations did not feel anything and were still able to withstand the suction force. However, they could still vaguely sense that they were being sucked away a little. This level was at least at the heavenly god level. Those within the heavenly god level, including those at the sky sovereign level, would all have their energy absorbed. Although it was only a little bit, it would accumulate bit by bit and eventually flow into the black blood. As for the energy that was being extracted, it started to feed back to the evil emperor. Energy that could be seen with the naked eye continuously surged down, continuously strengthening his body. It was as if the essence of their energy had been extracted. Those with low cultivations, forget about energy, even their blood essence was being extracted. If this continued, those with low cultivations would probably become dried corpses. This range also included the majority of the entire god realm. As long as they did not hide in an area that was not covered by the black blood, their energy and blood essence would be quickly extracted. Fortunately, Itianyun had cleared out a large area in advance. Otherwise, they wouldn't even have a place to hide. What? A large number of evil spirit races from the other divine realms have started to self-destruct? Itianyun's face darkened. The black blood that he had absorbed with great difficulty had been replenished just like that. The price the evil spirit race had to pay was naturally very painful. It was to continue sacrificing a large number of evil spirit races to self-destruct. It wasn't that he had done it for nothing. Instead, he had killed a group of evil spirit races. Even so, he was still at a disadvantage. No wonder the evil emperor was so confident. Under this formation, even if an area was destroyed, it could still be quickly repaired. After it was activated, it began to crazily absorb their blood essence and energy, continuously replenishing the evil emperor. This saved him the trouble of constantly capturing cultivators to absorb, and he crazily absorbed them in one go. This was equivalent to them being a bunch of walking spirit herbs. Under the black blood great array, their essence, blood and energy were madly extracted to increase his strength. He didn't need to spend too much effort. He just needed to stand there and absorb the endless energy. It was just that the price one had to pay for such an effect was also extremely high. Evil Emperor had sacrificed a lot of his subordinates to bring about this ultimate effect. However, he didn't feel any heartache at all. These were all people with low cultivation. As long as they weren't at the Empyrean level, they were all expendable to him. If it reached a more serious situation, even an Empyrean or even a heavenly god could be sacrificed. Apart from him, there was nothing that could not be sacrificed. As long as he could become a god emperor, it would be considered a success. He had planned for so long, and he had been unwilling to make a move for so long, all for this moment. Changing the environment of this world would provide him with an endless supply of energy, allowing his cultivation to continue to rise and take another step forward to reach the level of a god emperor. This kind of situation was equivalent to sacrificing the entire Kai Yuan world, turning them into his own nutrients. This method was simply too vicious. As expected of the evil spirit race, and even more so, as expected of the leader of the evil spirit race, the evil emperor. Kill! The medicine god led the charge without hesitation. They had all sensed the change in the situation. As long as the evil emperor didn't die, this kind of great formation would continue until they were drained dry, until they surrendered, or until the evil emperor became a god emperor. Therefore, they could only fight. Apart from fighting, there seemed to be no other method to speak of. Since the seal was ineffective, they could only charge over in numbers and drown the evil emperor. With the medicine god taking action, the rest of the seniors followed him and charged at the evil emperor again. Come, let your energy and blood essence become the stepping stone for me to become a god emperor. The evil emperor's eyes were filled with crazy flames. Facing so many powerhouses, he wasn't afraid at all. In his eyes, these were just elixirs, so he could absorb them. Darkness descend. The heretical emperor waved his hand and a terrifying black light descended from the sky, forcing the experts rushing over to retreat. Just a single move was enough to force back so many heavenly gods. Compared to before, the power of this attack was actually several times stronger. It was obvious that when the Great Formation was fully activated, his overall strength had greatly increased. Too weak, really too weak. The evil emperor laughed crazily. His figure flickered and rushed in front of one of the heavenly gods. He quickly grabbed him and the terrifying black light poured into his body. In the blink of an eye, the heavenly god was drained dry. The heavenly god's eyes were wide open, filled with disbelief and fear. As the evil emperor threw him, he turned into a pile of flying ashes and disappeared in the void. The remaining dregs of energy were all sucked dry by the black blood great array in the sky. Not a single drop was wasted. A powerful heavenly god was killed in one move. The evil emperor's power was terrifying. Where is the heavenly cloud territory master? Isn't he here to attack? Where did he go? The evil emperor laughed heartily. When he was about to pounce on another heavenly god, he subconsciously looked around. He still wanted to kill Yi Tianyun. However, when he turned his head and looked around, he found that Yi Tianyun was not there at all. When he looked carefully, he found that Yi Tianyun was controlling tens of thousands of flying swords, crazily sweeping through the heavenly cultivation god realm, killing countless evil spirit race quickly. He did not go to fight the evil emperor head-on. Instead, he went to kill other invading evil spirit race first. You actually ran over there. Do you dare to fight with me? The evil emperor looked at him and said angrily. Yi Tianyun turned a deaf ear to him and continued to kill these evil spirit race, taking their lives and collecting experience. The number of evil spirit race was not endless. As long as he killed all of them, he could focus on dealing with the evil emperor. However, his real goal was not as simple as killing the evil spirit race, but to gain a lot of experience. He could feel that he could not fight the evil emperor head-on, even if he used crazy damage mode. Therefore, he needed to level up crazily. If he wanted to level up, he needed a lot of experience. A large amount of experience was for these invading evil spirit race, which could not only level up, but also clean up the evil spirit race, killing two birds with one stone. I hope you can hold on a little longer. Now, I can only use this method. Yi Tianyun's face was gloomy. He also wanted to fight the evil emperor head-on, but he was not strong enough. Chapter 1786. Yi Tianyun's actions did not arouse any disgust from the medicine god and the others. It was not that they did not know the severity of the matter, but that Yi Tianyun was more suitable to eliminate the scattered evil spirit race. Under the terrifying 10,000 flying swords, he could easily kill a large number of them. This way, he could reduce his losses and suppress the black blood formation. If any of their cultivators were killed, their energy would immediately be released, and at that time, it would be absorbed by the black blood formation even more. This was also the reason why the evil spirit race kept on killing. Compared to slowly extracting their energy, it was definitely faster to directly kill them and release all of their energy. For this reason, the more cultivators were killed, the more stable the black blood formation would be, and the more shocking the energy that the evil emperor could absorb. It seemed like something that could be done at any time, so why did he have to choose this time to do it? The reason was very simple. The black blood formation could be used as a storage array. The energy released by the killed cultivators could be stored on it. If all of them were to rush over, even the powerful evil emperor would immediately explode from the energy. Therefore, setting up the black blood formation was very important. Not only could it be used as a storage point, it could also suppress many cultivators and suppress strong enemies. This was the reason why the evil emperor had prepared for so long. If he was not prepared and attacked rashly, the dozen or so half-step god lordes in front of him would be enough to take his life. If he couldn't even unleash his full strength, how could he rule this world? Yi Tianyun knew the problem, and that was to prioritize killing the evil spirit race so that the evil emperor would not be able to easily absorb more energy. The main point was to obtain more experience and counterattack. If you have the ability, come and fight me. Don't hide there and kill the weak. The evil emperor was furious. Yi Tianyun's actions had affected a part of his plan. Sacrificing them was nothing, but he also wanted to quickly accumulate energy. Just relying on self-destruction would not be able to obtain too much energy and would only strengthen the black blood formation. Yi Tianyun still turned a deaf ear to him and continued to kill the evil spirit race around him. With his technique, he killed them at the fastest speed possible. It seemed like it wouldn't take long for him to completely clear them out. Previous chapter, next chapter, boom! A wave of frenzied attacks came crashing over, and the evil emperor quickly defended but was forced back by the impact. It seemed that group attacks were quite useful. Don't go looking for the Alliance Master. Do you think we don't exist? The drug god and the others surrounded him one after another. The attacks on their hands did not stop. They were still fiercely smashing, wanting to use a crazy attack to repel him. They refused to believe that evil emperor could last for long if they continued attacking. Do you really think you can stop me with your puny abilities? With a flash, the evil emperor charged towards them again. He moved with shocking speed, instantly arriving in front of one of the gods. Before the god could react, he quickly tore him in half and drained all of his energy. Despite being surrounded by so many powerful heavenly gods, he was still able to kill his opponents. This kind of ability was truly terrifying. Continue to attack. They shouted angrily and continued to attack. But the results were the same. Evil Emperor was able to block their fierce attacks, and at most, he suffered some superficial wounds. His injuries were not serious. Don't talk about killing him, they could not even heavily injure him. In addition to Yi Tianyun's previous heavy damage, their attacks have no effect at all, completely ineffective. Instead, they did not dare to casually get close. Once they did, Evil Emperor's attacks were not to be trifled with. He would explode with a monstrous attack and tear them to pieces. None of the people present could match Evil Emperor in combat power. Therefore, if they got close, they would only die. They would not be able to stop him. Even Drug God did not dare to casually get close. He could only attack from a slightly closer distance. Close combat was not his area of expertise. There is no effect at all. We have so many people, but we can't even stop one person? Their expressions were ugly. Evil Emperor had been rushing over, and every time he attacked, a heavenly god would be killed. If this continued, Evil Emperor would definitely break through their attacks and attack Yi Tianyun. Evil Emperor's current target was Yi Tianyun. When he saw Yi Tianyun continuously killing the evil spirit race, he gritted his teeth in hatred. But with so many half-step god thearchs blocking him, he could not easily kill his way over. When they wanted to continue attacking, a black figure appeared behind them. Everyone, let him fight Evil Emperor. Yi Tianyun's voice reached their ears. Their eyes turned and stopped on that black figure. They found that it was Evil Spirit Deity. Fecta Domain Master and the others had seen this evil spirit puppet before, so they did not think much of it. Those who had not seen it before were surprised. Why was there an evil spirit deity here? Was it on their side? It's you! When Evil Emperor saw this evil spirit puppet, he was enraged. If there was anyone he hated the second most, it would be this evil spirit puppet. It had taken Huan Mingyue away and joined hands with Yi Tianyun. How could he not hate it? The evil spirit puppet did not speak. It patted its body and released all the evil spirit's pearls in its body. Boom! The black evil energy that soared into the sky exploded in all directions. It was not inferior to Evil Emperor's evil aura. Most importantly, the black blood formation was also suitable for it. It was even constantly moving the energy from the formation and absorbing it into its body. Evil spirits awaken. The evil spirit puppet's eyes were like bottomless abysses. In the next second, the evil spirit spread its demonic wings and guided more black energy to surge down. It was actually fighting with Evil Emperor for the energy. Not only that, its body started to swell and finally turned into an extremely evil spirits. The initial appearance of evil spirits was imprinted on the evil spirit puppet's expression. This was the effect of releasing the evil spirit's pearls. It was equivalent to the arrival of evil spirits. Its combat power was equivalent to a half-step God the Arch. It could even be said that it was not inferior to Evil Emperor. It was not that the evil spirit puppet was too powerful. It was just like Evil Emperor, it could snatch the black blood formation's energy to strengthen itself. It was just that the evil spirit puppet's body had been strengthened by Yi Tianyun. In addition, its capacity was not small. The energy it could extract was even more ferocious than Evil Emperor's. Evil Spirit's Pearls. You actually have the Evil Spirit's Pearls. Moreover, you have all of them. Evil Emperor's eyes narrowed. He did not expect this traitor to have all of the Evil Spirit's Pearls. Is the condition for you to join them for these Evil Spirit's Pearls? Don't forget that you are from the Evil Spirit clan. Joining them will not end well. Chapter 1787. The Evil Emperor looked at the evil spirit puppet in front of him, stunned by the words that came out of it. He had never been so shocked before. Such a lifelike fellow in front of him turned out to be a puppet. How is this possible? How can a puppet be so lifelike? The Evil Emperor looked up and down at the evil spirit puppet. He really couldn't tell whether it was real or fake. Whether it was the aura or the bloodline, they were all first class. If I say you're an idiot, then you're an idiot. I think you're more like an idiot. Yi Tianyun sneered. Whether it's real or fake, we'll know once we try it. After releasing the evil spirit's orb, the energy consumption was serious, and the king was to fight quickly. However, he could use the black blood formation to replenish the energy so he could continue using it. The key was that he couldn't keep using it. If he used the evil spirit's orb too much, there would be problems. The thing that sealed the evil spirits was not permanent. It could only be said that if he used it continuously, there would definitely be some problems. For example, the material could not withstand the release, causing it to collapse and shatter. Therefore, it was best to use it for as short a time as possible. If he kept using it, naturally he couldn't bear it. Now the evil spirit's orb was fully released. The 4 evil spirits' orbs were refined into one and then fused with the evil spirit puppet. However, the evil spirit puppet was just a puppet, and the evil spirits couldn't possess it. Damn it, what kind of freak is this? It doesn't affect me at all. The evil spirit screamed in the evil spirit's orb. His power was used, but he couldn't resist. He couldn't help but curse. But cursing was useless, he could only bear it silently. After Yi Tianyun exploded, he immediately controlled the evil spirit puppet to pounce forward. A huge shadow of the evil spirits appeared from behind, covering the area. In an instant, it arrived in front of the evil emperor and launched a fierce attack. Darkness descends. It was a familiar move, and a black pillar of energy descended, pressing down on the evil emperor, wanting to crush him in one fell swoop. The evil emperor had yet to recover from his shock. By the time he did, the evil spirit puppet had already arrived in front of him and was attacking fiercely. He could only hurriedly counterattack and collide with this move. Boom! The darkness energy clashed against the darkness energy, and in the end, the evil spirit puppet was still slightly superior. It forced the evil emperor back, but its body was charred black, and a lot of its energy had been devoured. Evil spirits also had the ability to devour, so the evil spirit puppet's attacks also had this effect. He extracted a small part of evil emperor's body, but it was just a small part, and it was not very useful. The main reason was that their attributes and abilities were the same, so the effects wouldn't be particularly obvious. However, being able to suppress the evil emperor was already enough. Everyone cheered when they saw this. This was simply a black-on-black situation. It felt incomparably refreshing. Tianyun used the power of the evil spirit race, which was also the power of the evil spirits, to suppress the evil emperor. It was as if he was fighting his own people. How could he not feel good? Only then did the medicine god and the others catch their breath and start to replenish their energy. Not only did the fierce attacks not have any effect, but they had also consumed a lot of energy. Due to the black blood formation above, the consumption would be greater than usual. Alliance leader is too powerful. No wonder he said that he wanted the evil spirits as pearl. So it has this kind of effect. This is the benefit of not being afraid of the backlash. We can always use it. This time, the evil emperor can be suppressed. I hope he can be truly suppressed. This looks a little difficult. Let's prepare for battle and launch a sneak attack on the evil emperor. They did not watch from the side. Instead, they analyzed the evil emperor's condition and prepared to attack at any time. It wasn't their style to just stand there and watch foolishly. Even if some of them could not help, they would immediately move to another area and help kill the evil spirit race. No one present was idle. The battle had already begun. Other than a few who were preparing to attack, the rest went to kill the evil spirit race. Almost all of the evil spirit races had spread out towards the divine realm and were all mobilized. It could be said that most of the forces were attacked by the evil spirit race. It was much crazier than the first time. It was several times, or even more than 10 times. It was extremely crazy. This was a big attack, the beginning of the battle between the divine emperor. How could it not be crazy? As a result, all the forces started to fight a bloody battle together, and there were casualties at every moment. Either the evil spirit race was destroyed, or they died. This was the cruel battle between the divine emperor. It could be said that it was a blood sacrifice for all the cultivators. Once the evil emperor successfully broke through, this battle would end. However, correspondingly, the remaining surviving cultivators would basically become the slaves of the evil spirit race. Boom! Boom! The evil spirit puppet and the evil emperor clashed a few times. The evil spirit puppet absorbed the black blood formation and even specially extracted an area. This caused another hole to appear on top. This was the effect of absorbing too much. This was deliberately done by Tianyun in order to reduce the area on this side so that the power of the evil emperor's main body could be weakened. After all, as long as he was not under the black blood formation, the evil emperor's strength would be weakened by 20%, which was extremely miserable. If he could achieve this effect, he would be able to kill him in one fell swoop. Explode! The evil emperor roared and fiercely pierced through, wanting to pierce through the evil spirit puppet. However, how could Tianyun let him succeed? He once again mobilized the power of the evil spirits to fight head-on. After doing this continuously, the energy above became thinner and thinner. However, the evil emperor was very smart. He would immediately change his area and attack the other heavenly gods. He was not afraid that Tianyun would not come over. After luring him over, he would fight head-on. When the two fought, it was really hard to tell who would win. The overall situation was that Tianyun's side was slightly weaker. The evil emperor's strength was not just for show. Tianyun's side was relying on the power of the evil spirits, but the strength of the puppet's main body was still slightly weaker. However, there was no problem in holding back the evil emperor. Damn it, it's not working. I didn't expect that I would be forced to use my ultimate move at this time. The evil emperor's expression was ugly. With his original strength, he could easily kill them or slowly exhaust them to death. Now, a puppet came out of nowhere and even used the power of the evil spirits. The evil spirit's strength was very terrifying, not inferior to the evil emperors at all, which was why they were on equal footing. No matter what, the evil spirits had almost succeeded in the past, but there were many experts in this world. One seal was enough to seal him. The evil emperor was not afraid of being sealed, but the appearance of the senior evil spirits shocked and angered him. Chapter 1788. When the evil emperor took out the special awakening crystal, everyone's heart sank. They could tell that this thing was not ordinary. They had thought that the evil emperor was already strong enough. Could it be that after using this awakening crystal, he would become even more terrifying? If that was really the case, then how could they play? Stop him! Yi Tianyun immediately rushed towards the evil emperor to stop him. Yi Tianyun waved his black energy and attacked the evil emperor again. But how could the evil emperor let him interrupt him? The awakening crystal was stuffed into his body, and a berserk energy instantly enveloped his body. Roar! The evil emperor roared, and a berserk energy was released from his body. Circles of black light spread out from the surface of his body, and when they came into contact with Yi Tianyun's attack, they directly melted his attack. With just a roar, he had melted Yi Tianyun's strongest move. The remaining attacks also fiercely hit the evil spirit puppet, sending it flying. When it stopped, there was already a deep mark on its body, and it was almost cut in half at the waist. Other than that, the surrounding black blood great formation's energy crazily surged into the evil emperor's body, as if it was a sign of the descent of a king. However, it was not a breakthrough to become a god emperor, but the appearance of a strongest king after awakening. The evil emperor continued to shout, and the surface of his body gradually seeped out black crystal pieces, finally covering his entire body. The demon wings on his back were also covered by black crystal pieces, as if his entire body was covered in a thick layer of crystal armor. Not only that, a hole opened up on his forehead, and a special eye appeared. Evil black gas surrounded his body. The black gas continuously attacked the space, and the area it touched was completely devoured. After it was completed, the evil emperor's true appearance was that there was an extra eye on his forehead, and his body was covered in black crystals. This was completely different from the previous awakening. It was like a different kind of change. This is the true appearance of the evil spirit race. He is drawing the power of another world over. The price is very high, but the power is also the strongest. Huan Mingyue's voice came from afar. She did not participate in the battle but fought against the evil spirit race together. Huan Mingyue's abilities were not small, but against the evil emperor, she was still too lacking. If she could even kill the evil emperor, she would have ruled the entire evil spirit race long ago. The true appearance of the evil spirit race. Yi Tianyun's eyes narrowed. Just by exploding out, he had already forced the evil spirit puppet to retreat. Just the energy it emitted was enough to almost cut him in half. It was truly terrifying. If this was the true appearance of the evil spirit race, then it would be extremely terrifying. Fortunately, it was in this world. Otherwise, it would have been suppressed in the world of the evil spirit race. Correspondingly, they didn't have an advantage here either. After all, this was not a world that belonged to them, and their powers would be suppressed. I'm afraid he's about to become a god emperor. Yi Tianyun's heart trembled. He didn't expect the explosive power to be so strong. He didn't know how to describe this power. He couldn't even describe it accurately. It could only be said that he was very strong, so strong that he had crossed another level. Yi Tianyun did not compromise, and also took out an awakening crystal. This thing was something that every evil spirit race with a stronger cultivation had. Thus, he could easily get his hands on it, then stuff it into his mouth and consume it. Although it couldn't compare to the one in the evil emperor's hand, it could at least unleash a portion of its energy. After consuming it, the evil spirit puppet's body immediately changed. However, at most, its aura would be greatly strengthened, and the surface of its body would not change much. Facing the evil emperor's heaven-defying transformation, it was simply not on the same level. I never thought that this emperor would be forced to use this move by you. To be honest, this emperor really doesn't want to use this move. The evil emperor twisted his neck and walked towards Lee Tianyun. Every step he took felt as if he was stepping on everyone's chests, making them feel extremely heavy. The energy that spread out from his feet could send any expert who was slightly closer flying. It could be said that the energy released by a casual movement was not something they could resist. Is that so? Then it's my honor. Lee Tianyun's eyes turned cold, and in the next second, he controlled the evil spirit puppet to attack fiercely. After unleashing its power was greatly increased. In an instant, it arrived in front of the evil emperor, waved its sharp claws, and stabbed them fiercely. After awakening, the claws on its hands could replace heavenly God's spiritual treasures. This was the awakening of the evil spirits, and its power naturally could not be weak. However, the evil emperor did not even dodge, and did not even bother to block it. He just stood there. Clang. With a heavy blow, Tianyun instantly felt the front limbs of the evil spirit puppet being rebounded, and then the hard claws were smashed into pieces and turned into a pile of powder. On the other hand, only a faint mark was left on the surface of the evil emperor's body. The terrifying defense made everyone suck in a breath of cold air. Wasn't his defense a little too strong? This was already at the level of a monster. How could it hurt him? You want to hurt me with this bit of power? Even if the evil spirits were to be reborn, they can't hurt me. The evil emperor stretched out his hand and grabbed it, and said with a cold smile, "Obediently hand over the evil spirit's pearl, trash." Like the claw of the grim reaper, it viciously grabbed him, wanting to catch him. Tianyun shouted, and quickly swung his arm down again. The power of the evil spirits poured out. However, the result did not change. Under the fierce attack, the evil emperor at most swayed a little, and was not affected at all. Instead, his chest was pierced and he was fixed in the air. "Come out." The evil emperor pulled out one of the evil spirit's pearls, and it landed in his hand. However, not all of them landed in his hand, and only one was in his hand. This made him stunned. Why only one? In an instant, Lee Tianyun had already scattered the evil spirit's pearls, so naturally he could only catch one. Taking this opportunity, he quickly retreated, wanting to escape from the attack range. "You came to my territory, and you still want to leave?" The evil emperor laughed coldly, and continued to grab him. He had clearly escaped far away, but this grab seemed to shorten the distance, and arrived in front of Lee Tianyun, ready to pierce through his body. At this time, a light that combined all the powers pierced through the evil emperor's territory, and greeted him. The evil emperor's eyes revealed a look of surprise. Facing such an attack, he could only stop grabbing Lee Tianyun and turn his hand to block it. Boom! The evil emperor was sent flying by the attack, and the crystals on his body began to crack. He wasn't injured, but his defense was broken. Chapter 1789. The drug god and the others did not just stand there stupidly. When Lee Tianyun and the evil emperor started fighting, they immediately communicated with each other, planning to work together to use the combined formation. The combined formation's power could be said to be the greatest, but it required a very strong coordination ability. Under their constant adjustment, they finally managed to adjust a little at the critical moment, which allowed them to explode with a very strong attack, causing the evil emperor's crystal to crack and almost shatter. If not for the crystal's protection, it really would have pierced right through the evil emperor's body. Such a shocking power really frightened the evil emperor. He did not expect that a moment of carelessness would give the opponent an opportunity to take advantage of. Lee Tianyun took this opportunity to quickly escape, at the same time drawing energy from the sky to repair his body. But he lost one of the evil spirit's orbs, and his aura rapidly weakened. In the state of incomplete evil spirits, his power would be greatly reduced, and he would not be as strong as before. There was already a gap between him and the evil emperor, and now the gap was getting bigger and bigger. It seemed that it was impossible to attack him head-on. If he attacked head-on, there was only one possibility, and that was to be defeated. Next time, he would not be so lucky, and he would probably be stripped of all the evil spirit's orbs. If not for the drug god and the others working together to attack, he would have really taken all the evil spirit's orbs, and that would have been a mistake. Originally, he had taken all the evil spirit's orbs to prevent them from being taken away. Now that they had been taken away, it was a huge mistake. Who would have thought that the evil emperor still had such terrifying power? He could also completely restore his true form and explode with the strongest power. Facing so many attacks and still not being injured, it was enough to see how abnormal the evil emperor's transformation was. Of course, if he did not use the evil spirit's orbs, then no one would be able to stop the evil emperor. Therefore, it was not that he wanted to release it, but that he had to use it. This power is too strong, even the evil spirits can't beat it. Yi Tianyun controlled the evil spirit puppet to quickly retreat, and came to the drug god's side, no longer daring to continue forward. After flying back, he said to the medicine god and the others, "Thank you for your help. If it weren't for your help, I would have been finished. Losing an evil spirit's orb was a mistake on my part." Alliance leader, don't say that. If it weren't for your help, we wouldn't have been able to deal with it, let alone complete this joint attack. The alchemy god and the others nodded and didn't blame Yi Tianyun. However, after a short sentence, he continued to prepare for the next attack. The first attack was a little out of practice, but it was different now. The second joint attack would definitely be more practiced, and the power would be even more shocking. This was the joint attack of more than 20 heavenly gods, and more than half of them were half-step god emperors. How could the joint attack be weak? If they worked together just a little more perfectly, even if evil emperor was covered in crystals, he would still have his defenses broken. Boom! At the next moment, they unleashed an even stronger attack. A thick divine light pierced through the darkness, tore apart the black blood formation's area of effect, and attacked evil emperor again. The heretical emperor's eyes narrowed, and he crushed the heretical god's pearl in his hand. A miserable shriek came from the heretical god's pearl, and then he stuffed it into his mouth and swallowed it. After swallowing it, his aura immediately increased by a notch, and the black crystals on his body recovered rapidly. At the same time, they became even darker, as though black gems were embedded on his body. If one were to look closely, it would be more like an unfathomable whirlpool that wanted to devour their souls. Evil Emperor had become stronger. "Devour for me." Evil Emperor slapped over with a backhand. The black crystals on his arm released a whirlpool, and it engulfed the joint attack that was charging over. Just as the attack touched the whirlpool, a portion of its energy was immediately devoured, and the devouring speed was rather fast. Not only that, the black blood formation in the sky was also mobilized by him, and it helped to devour the attack. As his strength increased, even his devouring power increased by a level, and he quickly devoured the attack. However, the joint attack was too powerful, and he couldn't devour all of it. But most of it was devoured, and the remaining hit his body. Being attacked by the energy, Evil Emperor didn't move at all, allowing the energy to hit his body. The black crystals on his body turned into whirlpools at the same time, and they started to continuously disperse and absorb the energy. In the process of absorbing, his body began to rapidly swell, and he soon swelled to twice his normal size. In the end, the energy was completely absorbed, and the result was that Evil Emperor swelled to twice his normal size. Let alone injuring him, it seemed like it was actually beneficial to him. A moment later, an evil aura emerged from behind him, and it rushed towards the black blood formation. This was a release of energy so that the black blood formation could help him store it, and he couldn't absorb that much for now. "Phew, your strength is not bad. I didn't expect that you could still counterattack in such a short time. It seems that I underestimated you." Evil Emperor let out a sigh of relief, and his body quickly returned to normal, and it seemed like he was fine. Their expressions changed when they saw this, but what shocked them even more was that the evil spirit's body was eaten. The part that was snatched away was the evil spirit's pearl that was sealed in his chest, and it was swallowed and absorbed just like that. If he hadn't absorbed the evil spirit's power to strengthen himself, that move just now would have definitely injured him. He actually ate the evil spirits, and even his own senior. Yi Tianyun's expression changed. He thought that evil emperor saved the evil spirits to remove the seal and save him. Now it seemed like that wasn't the case at all. Evil emperor had snatched them, and then consumed them to increase his own strength. Such a cruel method caused the expressions of the medicine god and the others to change. When he became ruthless, he would even eat his own companions. Previously, he had been full of respect and worship for the evil spirits, but now he was fearless and casually swallowed them. It was no wonder that when he revealed the bloodline of the evil spirits' descendants, evil emperor didn't hesitate to kill them. As long as they affected him, they deserved to be killed. You're worse than a beast, you even ate your own senior. The medicine god and the others couldn't help but curse, feeling that this was too cruel. Although they often fought here and there were casualties, they certainly wouldn't do such an unethical thing. What senior? Winner takes all. Since you've lost, why don't you just become my power? Evil emperor licked his lips and said, I have to say, this is a great supplement. Hand over the rest, and I will leave your corpses intact. I won't devour you. Chapter 1790. He wanted to devour all of the evil spirits' bodies to increase his own strength. Just devouring a part of them had an obvious effect. At his level, there wouldn't be any effect if he didn't devour powerful existences. Unless there was a shocking amount and they all accumulated, he might be able to improve a little. What he wanted to devour the most was naturally this group of heavenly gods, as well as the evil spirits. Everyone's expressions darkened. If he really devoured all of them, wouldn't he be even more invincible? Just devouring a small portion had greatly improved him. If he devoured all of them, he would probably be even closer to the God Emperor level. Now, even Yi Tianyun could sense that the Emperor's cultivation had advanced. Although it was only a little, for his current cultivation, just a little more was already very frightening. It took a lot of effort for the alchemy god and the others to break through a little. Now, he only needed to devour a little more to take a step forward. How could it not be frightening? Again! They ignored the Emperor's words and once again gathered their strongest power to attack. The third time they worked together, their power increased by another level. They were all peak experts, so it was easier to communicate with each other when working together. Their control of energy was also very precise. Thus, they quickly familiarized themselves with each other's power. Although it was still a little lacking compared to the seal, as long as they could force the Emperor back, they would be the victors. The seal was created by the Divine Spirit race and the Heaven Creator race with all their blood and sweat, and the power it unleashed was even stronger. This was similar to martial arts. A combined attack was equivalent to a reincarnation-level martial art, and a combined seal was equivalent to a Heavenly Tao-level martial art. There was no need to say which one could unleash the greater power. Another attack came, and the Emperor was clearly impatient. It's the same move again and again. Can't it be more refreshing? The Emperor didn't take the attack head-on. His figure flashed and he escaped the attack's lock, dodging to the side. With terrifying speed, he successfully dodged the attack and sprinted over. In an instant, he reached the nearest heavenly god, who happened to be the Sword Edge Region Master. The Sword Edge Region Master didn't panic. He turned his hand around and thrust out his strongest sword. The sword Qi, which was filled with boundless righteousness, slashed towards them and tore through the void. The evil emperor stretched out his hand and crushed the sword energy. At the same time, he grabbed the Sword Edge Region Master's arm and grinned, "Your attack is stronger than before, but that's all you can do." Before he finished his sentence, the Sword Edge Region Master's hand, which was holding the long sword, quickly shriveled up. At the same time, it was also sucked into his body. In the blink of an eye, it was almost sucked to his shoulder. The Sword Edge Region Master was decisive. His left hand turned into a palm blade, and with a quick swing, he chopped off his right arm. At the same time, he retreated. "Oh, interesting. You sure are straightforward." The evil emperor waved his hand, and the arm that had been sucked dry turned into a pile of ash and dissipated. The Sword Edge Region Master's face was pale, and he did not say a word. He had almost turned into cosmic dust and mixed with the void. The powerful Sword Edge Region Master was almost killed. It should be said that the evil emperor was being lenient. He wanted to devour all of them, so he wouldn't kill them in one strike. If he killed them, he wouldn't be able to properly absorb them. As for absorbing the energy, it was only when he couldn't escape that he forcefully absorbed it. Absorbing the attack energy did not have any effect on him. What was effective on him was naturally the blood and the purest energy in his body. The energy that was released would not have any effect on him. Only the blood and the pure energy of the planet were what he needed to devour. Otherwise, he would have killed them all at once, instead of sucking them dry one by one. Even so, the speed of his absorption was not slow at all. It was even very shocking. He crazily absorbed them all, and no one could stop him. Our combined attack can't even lock on to his aura. Their expressions changed. Previously, they had hit him twice, and they had successfully locked on to his aura. No matter how the other party tried to escape, it was useless. Now that they had successfully dodged it, it meant that the evil emperor's speed had already surpassed their lock onto him. Naturally, he could successfully escape. This meant that their attacks were no longer of any use. The power was strong, but if they couldn't hit him, what was the point? The evil emperor smiled coldly and rushed towards them again. This time, his target was not anyone else, but the evil spirit puppet. What he wanted the most was the evil spirit's pearl. Once he finished absorbing it, he would become even more powerful. At that time, it would be even easier to destroy the medicine deity and the others. The next moment, the evil emperor was in front of Yi Tianyun. His figure was like a ghost, arriving in front of him in the blink of an eye. He stretched out his hand and blocked the evil spirit puppet's escape route. He sneered and said, "This time, no one can stop me from killing you. After causing trouble for so long, it's time to end it." Yi Tianyun quickly controlled the evil spirit puppet to break through the seal, but his strength was far inferior to the other parties. How could he escape so easily? Just as he was about to escape, the evil emperor quickly grabbed his shoulder. At the same time, a suction force surged over, wanting to suck the evil spirit puppet dry. In that instant, the medicine deity quickly took out several 10,000-year-old spirit herbs, which turned into surging life force and rushed over. "Evil Emperor, come and die." The medicine deity took out several 10,000-year-old spirit herbs to greatly increase his strength. At the same time, he was overdrafting his own strength. Now that things had come to this, he couldn't care less. No matter what, he couldn't let the evil emperor obtain the evil spirit's pearl. Boom! The surging life force also had a purifying effect. It purified the evil energy on the surface of the evil emperor's body. Even the pitch-black crystal had lost some of its luster. Under the power of several 10,000-year-old spirit herbs and even 100,000-year-old spirit herbs, the medicine deity had truly become a god, purifying everything. "Do you think you can stop me?" The evil emperor emptied his other hand and slapped it back, not fearing the medicine deity's attack. Boom! Black and green light collided, forming an energy wave that spread out in all directions. For a moment, the evil emperor couldn't hold on to Yi Tianyun, so he let go and was sent flying. Not to mention the evil emperor, even the evil spirit puppet was somewhat purified. The surface of its body became incomparably shriveled. The evil spirit race was not only afraid of the light attribute, but also life force. This was the opposite of their death attribute, so it also had a restraining effect. However, compared to the light attribute, it was still lacking. The level needed was still very high, otherwise it would be difficult to injure the evil spirit race. Chapter 1791. The fierce collision between the drug god and the evil emperor had injured the latter a little, but that was all. It didn't injure the evil emperor too much. It could be said that it was only a relatively minor injury, but the effect was not bad. At least the evil emperor was at a disadvantage. Correspondingly, the green light on the drug god's body also dimmed. It seemed that this attack had consumed a lot of his energy. To be able to forcefully summon so much power and cause damage to the evil emperor, It was not enough to just rely on restraints. He had to rely on more power to be effective. It was like a pile of flames. Even if water subdued fire, if there was only 1 or 2 drops of water, it would not be able to extinguish the flames. If the drug god wanted to achieve the effect of injuring the evil emperor, he had to greatly increase his power. The price he had to pay was certainly shocking. Otherwise, how could he explode with such power in such a short period of time? I didn't expect that your power could increase to this level. It really surprises me. The evil emperor looked at the drug god with some surprise, but that was all. After all, in this confrontation, the evil emperor's damage was limited, while the drug god's side was at a greater disadvantage. How many times could he use this level of attack? As long as the evil emperor continued to resist, the drug god would eventually be exhausted to death. Die. The drug god didn't waste time. He couldn't maintain this state for too long. He could only attack quickly without stopping. My power has increased, but it's still far from enough. The evil emperor smiled coldly. His figure was like a ghost, disappearing in the blink of an eye. He didn't attack the drug god, but continued to grab the evil spirit puppet. The evil emperor knew that fighting the drug god head-on would not have a good result. It would only be a waste of time. If Yi Tianyun controlled the evil spirit puppet and left, then he would suffer a great loss. The most important thing right now was to increase his own power. When the time came, he would ruthlessly crush them. Don't run. The drug god missed and immediately turned to chase the evil emperor. If he continued to be delayed like this, the first to collapse would definitely be himself. The evil emperor didn't bother with him and continued to chase the evil spirit puppet. Yi Tianyun controlled the evil spirit puppet and quickly retreated. He knew that the evil emperor's target was the evil spirit puppet, and it would be troublesome if he was caught. If the drug god hadn't stopped the evil emperor for him, the other evil spirit's pearls would have fallen into the evil emperor's hands. So he had to escape now. Stop him. The rest of the half-step god emperor seniors similarly executed their strongest moves. It was just that they were still slightly weaker than alchemy god. Fortunately, the tacit understanding they had built up over the years allowed them to unleash a joint attack, and the power was not to be underestimated. All sorts of elites came to intercept him, and they attacked Evil Emperor again and again. If Evil Emperor could dodge, he would, and if he could not, he could only block it. Wave after wave of attacks landed on his body, but nothing happened to him. At most, there were a few cracks on the surface of his body. Even his insides were unharmed. The Evil Emperor knew that even though he wasn't weak, but Emperor's Emperor was still. Emperors. He knew that even though he wasn't weak, he had to spend some effort to deal with them. If he could swallow all the evil spirit's pearls, he would be able to deal with them easily. As he quickly caught up, even though he was intercepted several times, he still closed the distance between him and the evil spirit puppet. In a short while, he was behind the evil spirit puppet. Let's see how you escape this time. The evil emperor's eyes were filled with desire. If he could get all the evil spirit's pearls, he would be able to improve. He tried so hard to snatch the evil spirit's pearls but didn't get one. Now that one was in front of him, how could he miss it? Yi Tianyun controlled the evil spirit puppet to escape. Be it the black blood formation or other resources, they were all used. But they still couldn't escape the evil emperor's control. This was the difference in strength. They couldn't escape the evil emperor's pursuit. The drug god and the others chased with all their might. The evil emperor's speed was too shocking. Especially when combined with the black blood formation, his speed would be enhanced. On the other hand, they were still slightly affected. With such a contrast, their speed became even slower. They were very anxious. If this continued, the evil emperor would really snatch the evil spirit's pearls. Once they continued to strengthen, how could they fight? They were already hard to deal with. If they continued to strengthen, even if it was just a little bit, they would probably be finished. At that time, the human wave tactic would be meaningless. Their combined attack power was strong, but the evil emperor wasn't a fool. How could he just stand there and be attacked? Just by relying on his speed, he was able to kill everyone in an instant. In the blink of an eye, he could break through the lock and kill in front of them. He could quickly destroy the formation and eliminate them. When they couldn't catch up, they were all wailing in their hearts. Was it really going to end? At this critical moment, a figure suddenly rushed out. It seemed to appear out of thin air and appeared in front of the evil spirit puppet. Countless sword rays slashed over. The evil emperor didn't panic and quickly made a defensive move. Clang, clang, clang. The flying swords kept bombarding him, but when they stabbed the evil emperor, they didn't hurt him at all. They only left faint marks that were almost invisible. Get out of my way. The evil emperor waved his hand in annoyance. A violent force shattered the flying swords, turning them into powder and dissipating. But at this time, the evil spirit puppet had disappeared. Yi Tianyun had put it away. The person who appeared to save the situation was none other than Yi Tianyun himself. As soon as he came out, he immediately attacked with 10,000 swords. Unfortunately, there was no effect. With the evil emperor's great strength and defense, these attacks were basically useless. Where's your puppet? Did you take it away? After easily sweeping away the 1,000 swords, the evil emperor's eyes locked on Yi Tianyun. But it doesn't matter. Capturing you is no different from capturing the puppet. The evil emperor ignored the rest of the flying swords and tried to grab Yi Tianyun. Like the hand of the Grim Reaper, he sealed the surrounding space and completely locked the direction in which Yi Tianyun could escape. This was a very strong seal. It made his teleportation and teleportation god's stone useless. Clearly, the evil emperor had studied his situation. After experiencing so many battles and suffering so many losses, if he still didn't be smart this time, then he really was an idiot. Chapter 1792. Yi Tianyun did not panic in the face of such a seal. He had expected that the evil emperor would use this method to seal him so that he would not be able to escape. After playing with him so many times, the evil emperor had learned his lesson and used his identity as a divine carver to seal off the direction in which Yi Tianyun could escape. The key was the black blood formation, which could make this sealing effect lock onto a large area. This way, it would be impossible for him to escape easily. Even if he could escape, he would not be able to escape before the evil emperor caught him. Alliance leader. When they saw Yi Tianyun appear, they were shocked. Wasn't he courting death by appearing at this time? When Yi Tianyun fought with the evil emperor, he was obviously unable to fight back. Even if he injured the evil emperor, it was only during a sneak attack. In the later head-on confrontation, he would not be able to gain an advantage at all. Now that he had increased by such a large margin, he would probably be easily controlled. Level up. Yi Tianyun looked at the evil emperor who was rushing towards him, and he immediately used all of his EXP to level up. Ding! Congratulations to player Tianyun for successfully breaking through to the early stage of Middle God. Ding! Congratulations to player Tianyun for successfully breaking through to the middle stage of Middle God. Ding! Ding! Congratulations to player Tianyun for successfully breaking through to the middle stage of Upper God. He broke through 2 realms in a row and finally stopped at the middle stage of Upper God. The continuous leveling up was really terrifying. This was the effect of accumulation. Previously, he could have broken through to the early stage of Middle God, or even almost the middle stage of Middle God. It was just that he did not level up and kept accumulating experience. While everyone was constantly resisting the evil emperor, he had already cleaned up many evil spirit race in the divine realm. Tens of thousands of flying swords were no joke. They swept through everything along the way, and the experience exploded crazily. Especially the experience cards, it was like they were free. With a flurry of attacks, the experience stacked up to more than 400 or 500 times. Under such circumstances, killing a heavenly venerable was equivalent to killing 400 or 500 heavenly venerables. Even if the experience wasn't high, it was still an extremely terrifying number. As a result, after killing an unknown number of millions of evil spirit race, his experience had reached an extremely terrifying level. It was just that he did not expect his cultivation to only reach mid-level upper celestial god before coming to a standstill. If he wanted to continue leveling up, he would need an even more terrifying amount of experience. It was another astronomical number. I can only break through to mid-upper god. But that's enough. Tianyun definitely hoped to break through to the late-stage upper celestial god realm. That way, he would only be one stage away from the God Emperor realm. However, his experience did not allow him to do so, so he could only obediently stop. However, this was not the end. His eyes flashed as he quickly exchanged for various items in his mind. Ding! Successfully redeemed the Demon Emperor set. Demon Emperor set, only heavenly gods can equip it. After wearing it, the wearer can transform into a Demon Emperor at any time, increasing all strength by 1,000 times, defense by 800 times, and speed by 200 times. When entering the Demon Overlord mode, he could allow all kinds of souls to possess him, thereby obtaining the abilities and power of their souls. Each absorption of a soul consumes 1,000 crazy point. Demon Emperor set, a higher level set. After equipping it, a majestic aura spread out. This is the majesty of a Demon Emperor, the majesty of a God Emperor. Eonyun reached out to the void, and a long spear similar to the 5-dragon divine spear condensed in his hand. This is not the 5-dragon divine spear, but the dragon god demon spear. It's a heavenly god's spiritual treasure. When he broke through to the heavenly god realm, it had already begun to nurture, and after a long time of nurturing, it finally came out some time ago. At this moment, he took it out and held it in the palm of his hand. He felt a sense of integration firmly attached to his palm. This feeling is like holding the whole world in his hand. Even without the 5-dragon divine spear, this dragon god demon spear still has a familiar feeling. After all, it was born by him, like a part of his body. Holding it is naturally very smooth. Crazy damage mode, burst. Tianyun once again used the crazy damage mode, 256 times stacking, plus the stacking of the Demon Emperor set, led his combat power stacked to an extremely terrifying level. Boom! The terrifying power directly caused the void to explode. The suppressive power of the black blood array shrouded him. Not to mention being effective, even the void around him was crushed. How could it still have any effect? This is equivalent to Tianyun opening his own domain world. He is the master here, and no one can interfere with him. It's been a long time, evil emperor. Tianyun held the dragon god demon spear tightly and stabbed it towards the evil emperor. A huge shadow of the dragon god bloomed, opened its huge mouth, and swallowed, as if it would swallow the entire world. How can this be? The evil emperor's pupils shrank, and he almost retracted his hand, but it was all too late. The spear has already stabbed over, and it seems to be very slow, but before it can touch the evil emperor's hand, the evil emperor's hand has already begun to turn into powder, dissipating in all directions. As Tianyun pushed forward, more and more of the evil emperor's arm turned into powder. Even the terrifyingly hard crystal on it also turned into powder and dissipated in this world. When this scene fell into the eyes of the medicine god and the others, they were all stunned. The originally suppressed Tianyun fiercely counterattacked, exploding with even more power, even stronger than the evil emperor. Especially in his current state, the evil emperor's indestructible crystal armor has turned into powder. How did he do all this? Did he rely on some elixir, or some special taboo martial art to improve himself? They did not believe that Tianyun's cultivation could break through so many levels in such a short period of time. But the truth is that not only did his cultivation break through a few levels, but with all kinds of equipment, it directly allowed him to surpass the current evil emperor. In the blink of an eye, the evil emperor's arm turned into powder inch by inch, and this is not the end. The dragon god demon spear continued to pierce over, and it was the evil emperor's turn to stab the evil emperor's shoulder. But the evil emperor has already reacted, and with a loud shout, he slapped the arm that did not turn into powder, and fiercely slapped the dragon god demon spear. This time, the crystal on his arm rapidly strengthened by several levels. When it slapped, it did not turn into powder, only a few deep cracks appeared. After the slap, it did not send the dragon god demon spear flying. The dragon god demon spear in Yi Tianyun's hand was as solid as a boulder, and no matter what slapped it, it wouldn't budge. The evil emperor also did not hope to send the dragon god demon spear flying. Instead, he relied on this force to quickly retreat to the side, dodging the spear that continued to pierce him. Chapter 1793. Withdrawing his move, Yi Tianyun stood at the side, clutching the dragon god demon spear. He exhaled slightly. The attack just now had consumed a lot of energy, especially to familiarize himself with the feeling. Even as he thought about how to make his attack even more powerful, the vile emperor felt as if waves of shock were crashing through his heart. He hadn't expected that Yi Tianyun could increase his strength to this level. It had almost pierced through his armor. This was the armor he was so proud of. Even if the alchemist and the others went all out, they wouldn't be able to hurt him at all. Previously, when he was injured, it was only because he was ambushed that he was hit. Now that he had attacked head-on, his arm was instantly destroyed. If he hadn't dodged fast enough, half of his body would have been gone. The terrifying power refreshed his understanding of Yi Tianyun. Tianyun, who was previously thought to be weak and cowardly, was suppressed by him and almost killed him. The alchemist and the others were stunned. They had tried their best, but they couldn't hurt the evil emperor. Yi Tianyun had suddenly become so strong after his return. How did he do it? The alliance leader, he's too strong, isn't he? Is he using some move that reduces his lifespan? Otherwise, how could he be so strong? Is he still the alliance leader? Even if he can create a miracle, isn't this a bit too much? So we can kill the evil emperor? The cultivators were all excited. Seeing the evil emperor injured, and not with a sneak attack at that, made them very excited. This meant that they had the ability to fight head-on. They didn't need to rely on other moves to win. Although it wasn't a big deal to rely on other sneak attacks to win, those were risky moves. If the sneak attack failed, the price would be terrible. Now, Yi Tianyun had attacked head-on and won this round, forcing out the evil emperor's hidden strength. Didn't you want me to fight head-on? Now that I'm here, why are you dodging? Yi Tianyun smiled faintly as he watched the evil emperor's arm recover rapidly. At the same time, it was wrapped in an even harder crystal than before. It was clear that evil emperor had not used his full strength. He had only used half of his strength. Otherwise, his arm would have been reduced to dust just like how it had been in the beginning. The evil emperor's face was gloomy. He didn't expect that he would suffer a setback this time. I almost died. I really can't let my guard down. I don't know how you did it, but with your current state, you definitely won't be able to last for long. Evil emperor said coldly, then let me give it a try and see how long you can last. The evil emperor was certain that Yi Tianyun had used some kind of forbidden power to unleash such power. With this kind of strength, he definitely wouldn't be able to persist for too long. After all, the increase was too great. If it was just a little bit, he might be able to persist for a little longer. But with such a huge increase, how could he persist for so long? Evil Emperor himself could not last for too long, but in his opinion, he would definitely last longer than Yi Tianyun. Therefore, he unilaterally believed that Yi Tianyun would not be able to hold on for too long, and could only hold on for a short while. Not to mention the evil emperor, even the medicine god and the others thought so. Is that so? Then let's see who can last longer. Yi Tianyun sneered. The evil emperor was too naive. If he could hold on for too long, he would have stopped long ago. At most, he would consume a little crazy point, and the rest could last for a long time. Immediately, Yi Tianyun once again clenched the dragon god demon spear and attacked the evil emperor. He once again used his strongest move, Annihilation. Annihilation, invincible annihilation. The evil emperor's expression was solemn, and he no longer looked down on Yi Tianyun. He was treating Yi Tianyun as an equal. He quickly reached out and grabbed the bone blade in his hand again. This time, he finally took out a weapon. When he fought against the medicine god and the others before, he didn't even use a weapon. That's because he was full of confidence in his own strength. In fact, he didn't need any weapon to suppress the medicine god and the others. Now facing Yi Tianyun, he had to use all his strength. Soul-snatching death god. The shadow of a skeleton appeared in the evil emperor's eyes. He reached out and waved his hand. With him as the center, countless bone spikes spread out in all directions. At the same time, huge skeletons emerged and swallowed Yi Tianyun. This kind of move made everyone's face pale. If the evil emperor used this kind of move against them before, they would have been killed a long time ago. In the blink of an eye, countless bone spikes and skeletons rushed to this side. Yi Tianyun was not afraid in the face of danger. When the two collided, the bone spikes turned into powder. Even the huge skeletons that rushed to him were also turned into powder and floated in the void. Soul-snatching death god. The evil emperor shouted. The eye on his forehead suddenly released a gray death light. It quickly penetrated this side and instantly arrived in front of Yi Tianyun. Originally, it wanted to hit Yi Tianyun's head, but under the control of Yi Tianyun's domain, it directly hit the dragon god demon spear. Boom! A force that wants to pull Yi Tianyun's soul out of his body came from the spearhead. He did not expect this to be a spiritual attack. Not only that, bone spikes and skeletons kept emerging from the surroundings. Together, it really was a soul-snatching death god. Senior's souls, gather for me! Yi Tianyun roared. The devil emperor set on his body instantly released a dazzling black light. Soul shadows appeared in the void. Everyone could see clearly what kind of experts they were. Groups of heavenly gods floated in the air. Regardless of whether they were ancient heavenly gods from the previous era or current heavenly gods, they were all flying in the air. They were all the strongest people of this era. Now, their souls had been summoned for Yi Tianyun to choose. Seniors, all of you, come over. Yi Tianyun's eyes flashed. The souls in the void quickly entered his body and attached themselves to his devil emperor set. In an instant, it released a dazzling light. Behind him, heavenly god shadows appeared. They gripped the dragon god demon's spear tightly and suppressed the evil emperor with him. Boom! All the power gathered at one point. They were all experts killed by the evil emperor or the evil spirit race. Regardless of whether it was the heaven creator race or the divine spirit race, there were countless experts. Now they were all gathered together to fight with him. Gather all the anger of the seniors and break. Yi Tianyun roared. The power of the dragon god demon spear in his hand increased by several times. A dragon god that had gathered countless souls rushed out and smashed the death light. It also broke through the bone spike's domain. Everything was destroyed by the dragon god's soul. It forcefully broke through the bone spikes that were like city walls and turned them into a pile of powder. This was true invincible power. It gathered all the power to destroy the enemy. The evil emperor's eyes narrowed. He had already used his full strength, but it had been instantly destroyed. There was not even the slightest resistance. Before he could say anything else, the dragon god's soul had already devoured his body and finally detonated where he was standing. Boom. Chapter 1794. Not only did Yi Tianyun's strength not weaken, it even continued to increase. With a powerful attack, the terrifying attack directly exploded on the evil emperor's body. Everyone's hearts were in their throats as they did not know whether the evil emperor was dead or not. Although the situation was much better now and most of the evil spirit race had been wiped out, as long as the evil emperor was not dead, they could not say that they had won. After all, the evil emperor was the real main force. Once they destroyed him, they would be able to rule the world. At that time, no one would be a match for them and it would not be difficult for them to slowly break the barrier and let their companions in. Therefore, they desperately hoped that the evil emperor would die under this move. Yi Tianyun held the dragon god demon's spear tightly as he looked at the area of the explosion calmly. He also hoped that the evil emperor would die. However, he knew that the evil emperor was not dead. At least there was no news of the evil emperor's death. Once the evil emperor died, he would definitely send all kinds of experience and all kinds of treasures. However, it did not appear now, which meant that the evil emperor was not dead. It was just that they did not know how he was. After the explosion completely disappeared, the evil emperor's broken body appeared in everyone's sight. His originally tall and sturdy body was now very broken. Other than his head, the rest of his body had become very broken. There was not a single part of his body that was undamaged. He's not dead. Everyone's pupils constricted. They did not expect that he would not die under such a terrifying attack. However, it seemed that at least their chances of winning were very high. One move was enough to injure the evil emperor to this extent. What if he attacked continuously? Yi Tianyun naturally would not let go of the chance to beat him up. He held the dragon god demon's spear tightly and flew over at an extremely fast speed. He once again used the annihilation technique and turned everything into nothingness. Take advantage of his weakness and kill him. Yi Tianyun would not wait for the other party to slowly recover before killing him. That would be the behavior of a fool. When dealing with enemies, he always did not hold back and wanted to kill them in one go. The evil emperor panted heavily as he looked at Yi Tianyun, who pounced over and said angrily, "If I don't kill you, I swear I am not the evil emperor." The evil emperor raised his head and roared. The black blood formation in the sky spun madly, and a terrifying black light pierced down from the sky, enveloping his body. Under the shroud of this energy, his body rapidly recovered. In the blink of an eye, his originally tattered body was instantly healed and restored to its original state. Not only that, but the energy of the black blood formation was also frantically surging into his body, continuously strengthening it. It was as if he had activated some sort of mysterious array, causing the effects of the black blood array to erupt. However, after it erupted, all of its power surged into his body, and the black blood array in the void became thinner and thinner. From the looks of it, if he were to continue absorbing, the black blood formation would disappear without him needing to clean it up. Yi Tianyun didn't know what trick he had up his sleeve, so he didn't stop attacking. Instead, he continued to attack fiercely. The dragon god demonic spear pierced through the air, and just as it was about to touch the evil emperor, a terrifying surge of energy knocked him away. The energy that surged into the heretical emperor's body was like a thick barrier that could not be easily broken. Again! Yi Tianyun didn't give up. The power of the devil emperor's set exploded out once more, and with an even higher level of strength, he continuously struck the dragon god demonic spear. But each attack was only reflected back. At most, it would slightly distort the energy, but it couldn't harm the heretical emperor. With his probing eye, the heretical emperor's battle prowess was rapidly rising. He was already strong enough and could still continue to rise. It was clear that the heretical emperor was going all out, and he was going all out, using all of his trump cards. This black blood formation was his final trump card. By pouring all of the energy into his body, he would forcefully raise his strength to another level. You want to harm me with this attack? I originally wanted to gather a bit more energy and absorb it all at once, but in order to kill you, I can only use it in advance. The heretical emperor coldly said, "Once I'm done, it will be time for you to die." Yi Tianyun's face darkened, and he quickly retreated. It seemed that in his current state he couldn't kill the heretical emperor. Even if he wanted to take advantage of his weakness, he couldn't. "Everyone retreat, retreat to my god realm of the three realms, quickly." Yi Tianyun immediately gave the order. Given the heretical emperor's situation, once this was over, he would definitely start a massacre. At that time, even Yi Tianyun might not be able to stop him. The alchemy god and the others didn't hesitate. The alliance leader's words were in order. Then one by one, they turned and left, bringing everyone through the teleportation formation to flee to the god realm of the three realms. They could also see that something was wrong. If they continued to stay, they would only become a burden. The teleportation formation was already set up, so the journey to the god realm of the three realms was very fast. With a single move, the heavenly gods brought away their own disciples. This was actually part of the plan, one that had been made before the battle. If they couldn't stop the enemy, they would flee to the god realm of the three realms. Thus, they were all prepared to flee. All the disciples gathered together, not only to block the enemy, but also to quickly flee. In the blink of an eye, all of them fled. Run, run. That's more interesting. This emperor doesn't believe that the god realm of the three realms can protect you forever. The heretical emperor knew where they wanted to flee to. Only the god realm of the three realms was the safest. Tianyun looked at him for a while, then quickly flew out of the sealed area, ready to flee at any time. He didn't expect that in the end he would still fall to this point. Especially when his cultivation had increased by so much, he still couldn't kill the heretical emperor. It seemed like the heretical emperor was really an invincible existence. However, Tianyun didn't give up hope. It could even be said that he had a lot of hope. The heretical emperor's true power? Let me see how strong he is. Tianyun didn't flee back. He just watched the heretical emperor complete his strengthening. As more and more energy surged in, the heretical emperor was like a bottomless pit, constantly absorbing it. The surface of his body swelled up, and the black crystals on his body also became stronger. This was like a breakthrough. He absorbed all the energy so that he could break through to the God Emperor level. The black blood formation was originally for him to break through to the God Emperor level. Now, he didn't kill enough cultivators. Instead, they were all his clansmen. He was forced to raise his cultivation. Even if he couldn't break through to the God Emperor level, he could at least take another step forward and get infinitely closer to the God Emperor level. At this stage, he didn't know what to say, but he was really just a thin membrane away from the God Emperor level. Boom! Chapter 1795. After completely absorbing it, the evil emperor's state once again ushered in a comprehensive enhancement, reaching an incredible level. There was a slight fluctuation in the surroundings, but from time to time, there would be one or two celestial venerables or weapons that floated over, and when they came into contact with him, they would shatter into powder with a bang. Just relying on his aura alone, he could shatter such a hard weapon into powder. It was really terrifying. The current state of the evil emperor had really reached the state of a god emperor. God Emperor Wei was equivalent to the state of a god emperor. There was a gap in some abilities, but in terms of combat power, it should be about the same. In particular, the aura that was emitted made Tianyun feel as if he was facing the statue of the medicine god temple. It was already very similar. Just a little more, and this emperor can break through to become a god emperor. How hateful! The evil emperor's eyes were full of resentment. He suddenly looked up and stared at Tianyun. Two rays of light immediately locked on him, as if he was frozen in the void. Tianyun really felt that his body was a little unable to move. Just a gaze and he was able to block his movement? Run! Without hesitation, he held the dragon god demon's spear tightly and quickly swung it around, breaking the layers of imprisonment. Even though the evil emperor was equivalent to a god emperor, he was still not a god emperor. Tianyun could still break it. After breaking it, Tianyun did not hesitate to take out the teleportation god stone and disappeared. The moment he disappeared, the evil emperor had already reached the area where Tianyun disappeared. It should be known that the distance between them was at least half a god realm, and he almost instantly arrived in front of Tianyun. This speed was much faster than before. Damn it, he escaped again. The evil emperor furiously slapped the air, and with a bang, a hole was smashed open in the air. Everything in the surroundings was sucked in by the spatial crack, and everything was naturally sucked in. Only the evil emperor stood still. If it were any other celestial venerables, they would have been sucked in, but he was not affected at all. The evil emperor coldly swept a glance before his figure flashed and vanished. Before long, he was right in front of the god domain of the three realms. As he neared, his aura slammed into the shield, causing it to distort slightly. I knew you were hiding here. When evil emperor arrived, he saw Tianyun standing there. Tianyun had teleported back, and he looked at the vile emperor, who stood in front of him. That's your territory. If I stay outside, I'd be an idiot. If they were outside, evil emperor might have attacked a long time ago. Other than Tianyun, there were others who were watching from behind, feeling a little nervous. They were all worried that the vile emperor would destroy the shield, But if he couldn't, they would be trapped here forever. That was no different from being imprisoned, especially when resources were limited. If he couldn't get more resources, it would be even more difficult to make a breakthrough in this aspect. When that time came, they wouldn't know how to deal with the vile emperor. I don't believe that I can't destroy this shield. Evil Emperor roared, and this time, he used all his strength to smash down. Boom! A loud sound shook the shield, and the entire shield caved in. The terrifying energy didn't penetrate, but they could all feel how terrifying it was. Such a fierce palm strike. If it were them, they would have become cosmic dust. Evil Emperor didn't break the shield with one move, so he immediately smashed down again. Boom! The shield, which hadn't recovered, was smashed again, and this time, it caved in even more. But the shield still didn't show any signs of damage, and it looked as hard as ever, as if it could withstand all kinds of attacks. Break for me! Evil Emperor smashed down again, and he didn't stop at all. His attack pressed down again, and it was like smashing into everyone's hearts. Under this third strike, a crack sounded and a crack actually appeared on the protective shield. This crack was like a new tear, and it was incomparably painful. It actually cracked. Their expressions changed. Such an invincible barrier was actually broken? Although it looked like it was just a small crack, they at least knew one thing, and that was that the evil emperor could break this barrier. Yi Tianyun's face also darkened. It seemed that this barrier wasn't really invincible. The evil emperor's strength had already reached the level of a god lord. In this state, he had already surpassed the strength of everyone in this world, reaching an unprecedented state. In this state, it wasn't surprising that he could break the barrier. As long as this place is broken, where else can you escape to? This is your final shelter. Everything will end here. Vile King laughed coldly. He was quite shocked to see the rift. That's right. He had already used all his strength to smash it a few times, but only a crack had appeared. However, in his current state, breaking it wouldn't be a big problem. It would just take a bit more time. During the destruction, other evil spirit races kept surging over. The other evil spirit races were no longer slaughtering and were all gathering over here. Although Yi Tianyun had killed many evil spirit races, there were still many that had not been killed. They were all gathered outside, surrounding this place tightly. Once the barrier is broken, this emperor will let all of you be blood sacrifices. As the evil emperor attacked fiercely, he looked at them and said coldly, "This emperor wants to see where else you can escape to." The transmission array has been cut off, and the so-called invincible barrier will disappear very quickly. Everything you have will no longer exist. Let's see how you will resist. The evil emperor's face was sinister. He had finally been able to break through the barrier and charge in. At that time, no one would be able to stop him from killing, and he would be able to completely vent the anger in his heart. He had been suppressed for too long. He had been unable to kill his way in and could only stare helplessly from outside. Now that he could break it, he would be able to kill his way into the three realms' divine realm and ruthlessly exterminate them. The many domain lords in the three realms' deity domain felt a wave of terror in their hearts. Originally, their final trump card was hidden here. Now that their final shelter was gone, how could they survive? Are we going to lose just like that? Their faces turned pale. It wasn't that they were afraid of death, but that they couldn't even resist. This made them feel extreme despair. If they died just like that, they would definitely be unwilling. Their own territory had been taken away by the evil spirit race just like that, and they had died with grievances. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.